Chapter 2015. A divine beast wanted to deal with them. Wasn't this looking down on them? Yue, let me deal with this little b****. Fushi's small body stepped forward. The divine beast in front of him transformed into its original form. Fushi was only the height of its foot. It was comical no matter how one looked at it. Qingkai and the rest laughed. A small child wanted to deal with such a large divine beast? Little fellow, don't think that the divine beast won't kill you just because you're small. You've only been in this world for a few days, right? If you die so young, you won't be able to see this great world. Yes, little fellow. You'd better step aside obediently. We'll make it leave your corpse intact later. Fushi was very unhappy. He was being discriminated against by these people. He decided to knock this fellow down with one punch and give these people a good shock. However, before he could do anything, the divine beast in front of him moved first. Furthermore, it turned around in surprise. It cried out loudly and looked at Qingkai. Their gazes were filled with hatred. Then, under the shocked gazes of the group, it stomped on Qingkai. Qingkai and the rest did not expect the divine beast to attack them. Hence, their reaction was a beat slower. Even though they managed to dodge the huge foot, they were still hit by the wind brought about by the divine beast. A few of them were injured. When the members of the secret sect saw this, they were first shocked and then burst into laughter. The beast-taming sect had lost a lot of face this time. The beast that they had tamed did not attack the enemy, but attacked their own people instead. This matter was enough to make the beast-taming sect unable to raise their heads for a few years. Fushi was also very surprised. He turned around to look at Wu Lingyu and the rest, wondering if they had secretly done something. We didn't do anything. This person's method of taming the beast is extremely cruel, and this divine beast has not been completely tamed. Now that it has regained its freedom, all the hatred in its heart has surged forth. Sima Yue explained to him. Roar. The underworld beast let out the most primitive roar and raised its huge foot to stomp on Qingkai and the rest. Qingkai and the rest dodged pathetically on the ground. The attack that did not hurt or itch did not slow down its movements. Sima Yue looked at this scene and said, "It seems that the secret sect's words are not true. Although professional masters are weaker than ordinary people, they shouldn't be unable to deal with a mythical beast with so many of them." Too weak, Wu Lingyu echoed. Just now he did not use much strength in his kick, but he was still sent flying. This showed that this person's strength was weak. Qingkai is just a good-for-nothing in the Yin sect. How can he represent the Yin sect? A voice came from the rooftop. It seemed that the person was not convinced after hearing what they said. I see. That's more like it. Otherwise it would be too disappointing. Sima Yue said. Why? Do you have high hopes for the secret order? After all, I want to study here. Sima Yue said. Then you probably don't stand a chance. Konohachi said. You hit one of our people, so you're making an enemy out of the entire Yin sect. No one will agree. It's okay. You don't have to care about your opinions. Sima Yue said. Oh my, this little girl's tone is not small. Ignoring the disciples of the secret order. Even if you can enter, you won't have a good life in the future. Our Yin sect does not restrict internal fights. Konohachi said. I know. So what? Sima Yue said calmly, not caring about these things. You're really a newborn calf who isn't afraid of tigers. How brave. Now I'm hoping that you can enter the academy. Konohachi looked at her. Then we'll have a good show to watch. Then help me solve the problem in front of me first. Otherwise, I'll beat up everyone here. If you can't enter the hidden sect because of this, won't you lose some hope? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him. The smile on her face was dazzling. Pfft, you want me to help you, right? Konohachi snorted. No, I don't. Isn't this what you want me to do to show you some fun? If I want to watch a show, how can I not pay the price? Sima Yue shrugged. Hehe, what you said makes sense. Konohachi said. Nonsense. Kanon Exion snorted. Don't you think it's interesting? If such a person can enter, there will be a lot of fun in the future. Konohachi said. Moreover, I really don't like Fatty Ching. This matter has already made the Beast Tamer School unable to raise their heads. If you get involved again, they'll point their spear at you. Puffed. Konohachi sneered. You're talking as if there's no such thing, and they're not targeting me. Anyway, they don't like me, so why not make my life easier? Take it easy. I know. Ah. Sima Yoyue's attention was attracted by Qin Kai's scream. She looked over and saw a few people dragging him out from under the feet of the mythical beast. Bastard! A loud shout came from the front, followed by a flash of sword light. The sword light had a cold aura and directly pierced through the mythical beast's body. It flew out from its back and went straight for Yoyue and the others. Wu Lingyu casually waved his hand and stopped it. Roar! The mythical beast raised its head and roared, its voice filled with unwillingness. Puffed! A large amount of blood spurted out from its body. Then the mythical beast fell backward, and its body was split into two from left to right. Yoyue and the others flew back to avoid its body. What a powerful sword energy! The people from the insect sighed. But Qin Kai is injured, I don't know what will happen. Those people are doomed. The elders of the Beast Tamer School are here. They can't escape death this time. What a pity for such a beautiful woman. The people from the Beast Tamer School saw the people flying over and couldn't help but cry. Fourth Elder, you're finally here. Young Master Qin Kai is injured. The fourth elder of the Beast Tamer School looked at the badly mutilated Qin Kai and frowned. Why is he injured so badly? It's all because of those people. They kicked young Master Qin Kai away, so he thought of using the mythical beast to kill them. In the end, he was injured by the mythical beast. Fourth elder, you have to make a decision for young Master Qin Kai. The fourth elder looked at Sima Yoyue and the others. Looking at her beauty, he could roughly guess the whole story. He took out his sword and wanted to kill them. But he also saw how Wu Lingyu dispelled his sword energy and knew that he was a tough nut to crack. Fourth elder, if I were you, I would bring Fatty Qin Kai back to treat his injuries first. Konohachi said. Killing them is a small matter. If Fatty Qin dies, you won't be able to explain it to the vice headmaster, right? Konohachi, are you siding with them? The fourth elder said in a low voice. I'm obviously siding with you. Konohachi said seriously. Do you think you can defeat them with your strength? Net. Chapter 2016. The Beast Tamer Gates people were angered by Konohachi's words. Was he speaking up for them? He was obviously looking down on them. What do you mean? Are you looking down on us? Someone had to say it out loud. Qin Kai was stupid, and the people around him were also stupid. The fourth elder was angry and wanted to bite the bullet, but Kanan Xian said softly, Qin Kai is dying. Fourth elder, let's hurry up and bring the young master back. Qin Sai's servant was about to cry. If the young master died, he would be dead too. The fourth elder finally found a way out. He asked someone to lift Qin Kai up and brought the Beast Tamer Gate people back. Konohachi stood on the roof and waved at the people who were watching the show. All right, everyone can leave now. You really want to help these people? They beat up the people in the gate. Someone said. Konohachi raised his chin at that person. Then you want to go with Qin Kai? I'll leave. That person turned and left. If it was someone else, they would have beaten them up. But this person was Qin Kai, and they were too lazy to stand up for him. He had such thoughts, and so did the others. Thus, everyone left. It's settled? I thought there would be a big fight. Fushi said disappointedly. Little girl, you can't like to fight. Konohachi said from the roof. I hope you can really join the gate, or else it will be a waste of my yelling. Let's go back. Kanan Xian said and flew back. Konohachi quickly chased after her. That person just left like that? He didn't even leave a name or anything. Fushi pouted. Look at these two people, they have an extraordinary aura. And their words have some weight. I think their position in the gate is not low. If we can go in, we will naturally know who they are. If we can't, then we don't need to know. Sima Yoyue said. That's right, he probably thinks so too. Let's go back to the inn. Although these people didn't cause trouble for us, we beat up their people. I think they won't say anything to us now. They waited at the inn for 3 days, but they didn't see Yanjin and Bandit One. Instead, they saw a few other disciples. We are disciples of the Sound Sect. Young Martial Uncle asked us to bring you to the mountain. The leader said. Pick us up? Sima Yue sized them up and nodded. All right, wait a moment. She went to check out of the room and followed these people. The only waiter in the inn came to the counter, threw the cloth on his shoulder onto the counter, and said wickedly, "Are we really not going to remind them?" Remind me about what? The shopkeeper supported his chin with one hand and closed his eyes. His head was nodding as if he was about to fall asleep. Little Fool was already familiar with this state of his. He directly ignored him and said, "Those people are not from the sound sect. I think they are most likely from the beast taming sect. They definitely didn't have good intentions when they came to pick him up. Yue, will you be in danger if you follow them?" The shopkeeper opened his eyes, yawned, and stretched in an extremely ungraceful manner. Then he picked up the cloth on the counter and threw it onto Little Fool's shoulder. He reprimanded, "How many days will they stay here? You keep saying Yue, are you that close? They don't look like simple people. Instead of worrying about them, why don't you go and work for me? Have you cleaned up the room? Have you cleaned the courtyard? Have you cleaned the tables and chairs? If not, then hurry up and go." Little Fool took the cloth from his head and walked back slowly. "No one has stayed in this inn for a few months. What's there to clean? You sleep here all day and only know how to squeeze my labor force. My time is used for cultivation. If you continue to blabber, I will throw you back into the mountain," the shopkeeper threatened. Little Fool immediately changed his attitude when he heard that he was going to be thrown back. He took the cloth and wiped the table beside him. He chuckled and said, "Shopkeeper, look at how diligent I am. How can you bear to throw me back? I didn't notice that you were diligent, but I did notice that you were talkative and lazy. If you don't work, you'll be blind. Scram back." The shopkeeper closed his eyes and continued to doze off. Little Fool heaved a sigh of relief. Being able to follow him was something that many people in the sect wanted. He had finally agreed to it after much difficulty. How could he be chased back? However, he really admired these people. If they died like this, it would be such a pity. He hoped that the shopkeeper was right. These people were all very powerful. Sima Yue followed those people and left the town, walking towards the mountains behind. The hidden sect is very big. Every sect has their own sphere of influence. Most of them have mountain peaks as the boundary. Every sect has their own main peak. Together with the surrounding mountain peaks, they form their own area. Our sound sect is smaller than the others, so our place is more remote. The leader was more enthusiastic as he introduced them to the places along the way, and also the matters between the sections. They followed these people and walked for half a day. The more they walked, the more remote they became. They even left those lively mountain peaks and came to a barren place. The sound sect is so pitiful. Fushi looked at the barren mountain and sighed. You guys are too embarrassing to be in such a state. Every sect is very strong. This is based on strength. That person smiled and explained. Sect master and junior master are at the main peak. We can't go there casually. If you go there, someone will come to receive you. Sima Yue and the rest went in without hesitation. After taking a few steps forward, they felt a weak resistance. Then they entered a barrier. Ha ha ha. These people are so easy to fool. Those people even told us to be careful. Those people laughed. Those people are making a mountain out of a molehill. Yes, now that they have entered the Great Barren Mountain, they can forget about coming out. The underworld beasts inside will treat them well. Underworld beasts? You guys are from the beast taming sect? Sima Yue asked. You know that we are from the beast taming sect. You guys knew when you came. Sima Yue said. We were just bored outside and wanted to see what you guys were up to. I didn't expect it to be such a boring trick. Boring trick? Do you know what kind of place the Great Barren Mountain is? That is the forbidden area of the entire hidden sect. There is a barrier left behind by the seniors. As long as you enter, without the secret method of the beast taming sect, you can only wait for death inside. There are piles of divine beasts inside. You guys can wait for death inside. You're saying that we can't get out of this barrier? Sima Yue said as she took a step forward and arrived outside the barrier. Net. Chapter 2017. How is that possible? How did you come out? The people from the Beast Tamer school were astonished when they saw her walk out. What's so difficult about that? Sima Yue took another step back, went in, and then came out again. This boundary was completely useless against her. What did you do? Why can you ignore this boundary? The people from the Beast Tamer school asked. It's not just me, nah. Sima Yue turned around to look at Chanjiu, who also walked out. That's why this is useless. She learned that she was immune to boundaries when she was at the 9th Underworld Mountain. With Mo Lian's bloodline and cultivation method, all boundaries were useless against her. Humph, even if the two of you can come out, it's useless. Those people still have to die, or all of you will die together. So boring, I probably won't be in the mood to play with you. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she suddenly disappeared on the spot. In the next breath, she appeared behind them and kicked them all into the boundary. At the same time, Little Roar opened a button on the boundary to let Fuxi, Huan and the others out. Whoa! The Nether Beast's voice was getting closer and closer, and the expressions of the people from the Beast Tamer school changed. In order to let the Nether Beasts deal with Yue and the others, they placed something here to attract the Nether Beasts. It would make the Nether Beasts go berserk, temporarily lose their rationality, and attack people on sight. Now that the Nether Beasts had come over, weren't they going to deal with them? Let's get out quickly. The boundary here can't do anything to us. The person in the lead shouted, and everyone rushed out of the boundary. However, their secret method seemed to be useless now. No matter how they tried, they couldn't come out. How can this be? There seems to be something wrong with this boundary. Someone said in horror. Fear was contagious. Perhaps he was the only one who was afraid at first, but after he said this, the others also became fearful. If they couldn't get out, then wouldn't they die here today? Let's try again. See if the method is wrong. One person might be a problem with the method, but we can't get out, so how can it be a problem with the method? Despair and fear spread even faster when they saw the figure of the Nether Beasts. They couldn't care less and wanted to come out again and again. You don't have to waste your energy. This enchantment is not the enchantment in your door. Ling Yu just prepared it for you. You can enter but not leave, so the underworld beasts can enter. Sima Yue looked at them and said, You should turn your attention to the battle now. What? How dare you? TSK, you dare to scheme against us. Why can't we retaliate? Fuxi placed his hands on his waist. This is called giving you a taste of your own medicine. Enjoy it. Soon, those underworld beasts came over and entered Wu Lingyu's barrier. When they saw the people from the beast taming school, they all attacked. There were so many underworld beasts, and their strength was so strong. These few people were not enough to deal with them at all. They were torn into pieces in a few moves. Starfish and Haishi turned pale with fright, but they forced themselves to watch. If they were not powerful, if Yue did not have Little Roar who could open the enchantment, they would be the ones who would end up like this. Therefore, they could not sympathize with these people. They had to watch carefully and see what would happen if they were not strong enough. Who dares to be impudent in the secret order? A group of people quickly flew over on their mounts. When they saw the broken limbs inside the enchantment, their pupils shrank. How dare you? How dare you commit murder in public in the secret order, and kill our disciples? Today we must take you down. Sima Yue looked at these dozens of people. They were not weak. Some of them were wearing the same embroidered clothes as Qingkai and the others. What does your beast taming school want? You lured us here and wanted to kill us. In the end, you found out that your people were dead, so you let the secret order's people come out to deal with it? It seems that your beast taming school is too useless. The Black Shadow's words were full of ridicule, making the people from the beast taming school furious. No matter what, you killed our people and are going against the secret order. Guard Liao, these people can't be let go. I suggest you execute them. The people from the beast taming school looked at Liao Tsongming, the leader of the secret order's guards who had spoken up first. I don't care what grudges you have between you. This is the secret order. Killing our disciples in the secret order is going against the entire secret order. According to the secret order's rules, you must be killed without mercy. Liao Tsongming replied. You're Guard Liao, right? Don't you understand? How are we the ones who killed them? The ones who killed them were clearly the underworld beasts. Besides, we didn't call the underworld beasts here. This is our first time in the secret order. How could we have known that this was the place where the underworld beasts were kept? How could we have let them come here? Sima Yue refuted. Even though you have the rules to protect your disciples, how could you have the nerve to push the blame onto us for these suicidal people? Liao Congming furrowed his brows. Her words made sense. Don't try to quibble. If you had not cheated, they would not have been killed by the underworld beasts. Guard Liao, the Vice Order Master has said that we can't keep these people alive. As long as we kill these people, we can reserve one of the tamed sacred beasts for you. Liao Congming was a little moved. He had been wanting a sacred beast recently, but it was difficult to tame a sacred beast. Even if one was tamed, it would not be his turn, as it would be snatched away by the various order masters, elders, young lords and geniuses. Now that Vice Order Master Qing had said this, wouldn't the sacred beast that he had been longing for be his? However, these people were right. It was obvious that the Beast Tamer sect's disciples had not planned this out properly. That was why they had been killed instead. They had brought this upon themselves. Guard Liao, there's no need to feel troubled. Regardless of the process, the Beast Tamer sect's disciples had indeed died because of these people. You're just following the rules. Sima Yue could tell that Liao Congming was struggling in his heart. However, in the end he could not resist the temptation. The kindness in his eyes faded and he waved his hand at the guards behind him. Capture them all. Guard Liao will deal with them on the spot. The Beast Tamer sect member reminded him. Liao Congming glanced at him and corrected himself. Deal with them on the spot. When the guards received the order, they knew that they were very powerful and all of them attacked them. We're here to study. Don't go too far. Just make them unable to move. Sima Yue said. Quan and Haiying received the order and beat all the guards to the ground. They were all lying on the ground, unable to move, but their lives were not in danger. Zheng. The sound of zither strings came from all directions. Hearing this sound, the faces of the people present changed. Net. Chapter 2018. Sima Yue and the rest raised their heads to look. A white figure had appeared on the cliff at the side without them noticing. He sat at the top of the mountain with a guqin on his lap. Seeing him, Liao Congming and the rest of the Beast Tamer sect members were a little timid. Sect leader Lu, why are you here? Liao Congming bowed to Lu Yan, sighing in his heart. Liao Congming, I'm clearly handsome and elegant. Why do you make me sound like an old man? Lu Yan's hands lightly rested on the strings. His voice was elegant, but it made Liao Congming's hair stand. This old monster liked to pretend to be elegant, and didn't like people calling him old. However, his status was high, so everyone had to show respect to him. Sect leader Lu, I definitely didn't mean that. You're so young and handsome. How are you old? Liao Congming chuckled. Lu Yan didn't want to talk nonsense with him. He looked at the opposite cliff. Vice Sect leader Qing, why are you hiding there? Since you're here, come out and chat with us. Everyone's gaze followed him to the opposite cliff. A man who looked very similar to Qing Kai appeared at the top of the cliff. Sect leader Lu, this is the place where our Beast Tamer sect tames beasts. Why are you here? Vice Sect leader Qing didn't feel embarrassed at being exposed. Instead, he questioned him. I heard the commotion, so I came. These people hurt my son. I hope Sect leader Lu won't interfere in this matter. These people hurt your son? Wasn't your son hurt by a divine beast that he hadn't tamed? As a beast tamer, he was hurt by a tamed underworld beast. Such a shameful thing. If I were you, I would be in a hurry to cover it up. Why would I come out to find trouble with others? Oh, your son's injury isn't light, right? If you don't guard him and he wakes up and doesn't see you, he'll start crying again. Vice Sect leader Qing's face couldn't be any darker. This matter had become a big joke in the secret order. Those who didn't get along with him would seize the opportunity to teach him a lesson. Now the entire Beast Tamer sect couldn't raise their heads in the secret order. That was why he wanted to kill Sima Yue and the rest. If it weren't for them, his precious son wouldn't be hurt and the Beast Tamer sect wouldn't be humiliated. When Qing Kai woke up, he couldn't stop crying. It just so happened that a disciple from the pill sect who came to deliver the pills saw this and spread the news. Lu Yan's words were truly mocking the matter of a young girl loving her father. You don't have to worry about my son. Vice Sect Master Qing snorted coldly. Although these people came with your sect's Yan Qi, they are now facing the death of my sect's people. Are you going to ignore the sect's rules and protect them? Sect rules? What do the sect rules say? No matter how the disciples of the sect interact with each other, if outsiders bully our disciples, we must protect them. This is it. Lu Yan stood up and hugged her zither. This is a matter between the inner sect disciples. Why are you stepping in? Let them deal with it themselves. They're clearly not. When it happened, she was already a disciple of my sect. Lu Yan said, so this is just a matter between the disciples. Us old fellows shouldn't get involved. How is that possible? How could she be your disciple? Vice Sect Master Qing didn't believe it. Even if you want to protect her, you don't have to find such an excuse. You're challenging the sect rules. Previously, Yan Qi was teaching her cultivation methods. From now on, she will be my little disciple. Lu Yan said. If you don't believe me, Yue, play a song for them to see. Don't play too hard. Sima Yue guessed his identity as soon as he came out. Since he was going to enter the Yin sect, it should be more convenient to be the disciple of the sect master. So she took out her flute and gently blew it. Although her technique was not very skilled, it was indeed the technique of the Yin sect's direct disciples. I will go and ask the sect master for an explanation. Vice Sect Master Qing finished speaking and left, not looking at these people again. When the people of the Beast Tamer sect saw that their Vice Sect Master had left, they also hurriedly left, leaving behind the corpses that were eaten by the underworld beasts. In the end, not even bones were left. Liao Tsangming was embarrassed. He apologized to Sima Yue and the others. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were already members of the Yin sect. I've offended you. You also said that you didn't know. Those who don't know are innocent. Sima Yue did not intend to go against everyone. Moreover, Huan and the others had already taught these people a lesson. Liao Tsangming looked at Sima Yue in a higher light. He cupped his hands and left with his people. Only Lu Yan and the others were left here. Did I show up for nothing? Lu Yan said lightly. Without master, it will be more troublesome today. It will be more difficult to enter the Yin sect. Sima Yue said. You changed your mind quite quickly. But you should know why. The smile on Lu Yan's face faded a little. Let's go back to the Yin sect first. Of course Sima Yue knew why. It was because of the bone flute in her hand. They followed her back to the Yin sect. Although those people before had bad intentions, some of what they said was still right. For example, the Yin sect was in a remote place. They passed through many mountain peaks along the way. Those mountain peaks were very lively. When they arrived at the Yin sect, there was only one word to describe it, desolate. Yinya was at the top of the mountain. When he saw them behind Lu Yan, he nodded slightly at them. Where are the others? Lu Yan landed and walked towards the mountain. They are all waiting at the meeting building. Yinya said. Go to the meeting building. He walked in front while Yinya and Sima Yue followed behind him. Why is it him who went? I thought it would be you, Sima Yue said softly. I went to the small town with Grand Master. After knowing that you were taken away, Grand Master said he went and asked us to come back and wait. Yinya explained. Grand Master? He is your master? Sima Yue blinked and asked. Yes. When I entered the Yin sect, Master made an exception and took me in because of my good talent. Master was Grand Master's eldest disciple, but he has already passed away. Yinya explained. Then according to this, don't you have to call me young martial uncle? Sima Yue pursed her lips and smiled. He said he took me in as his disciple. He actually took you in as his disciple. Yes. Hurry up and call me young martial uncle. Yinya looked at her strangely. He knew that she would not lie. He was a little depressed in his heart. Previously, he thought that no matter what, he would let someone of his master's generation take her in as his martial brother. He did not expect Grandmaster to personally take her in as his disciple. Could it be because she had the bone flute? It should not be. If it was for the bone flute, it would be the same to let someone else take her in. He did not need to do it personally. Moreover, he did not reveal his intention to take her in as his disciple. So it should be a sudden idea. But why? Net. Chapter 2019. Sima Yue didn't know Lu Yan's personality, but he did. He didn't care about the sex affairs these years, nor did he care about the outside world. He focused on studying music, and his personality had become much calmer. There were many people who wanted to be his disciple, and many of them were talented, but he didn't even give them any face. He felt really good about taking Sima Yue in. However, he didn't dare to ask. He could only wait and see if he would find out later. Sima Yue saw that he was in a daze, and reminded him. Why are you in a daze? Is it that scary for you to call him Little Uncle Master? No, I was thinking about something just now. Yan Jin said, Little Uncle Master, let's go quickly. Otherwise, Grandmaster will be angry. Okay. They chased after Lu Yan and followed him into the meeting building. There were dozens of people sitting in the hall on the first floor. Sima Yue roughly looked and estimated that there were about 70 to 80 people. Greetings, Sect Master. Everyone stood up and bowed when Lu Yan entered. Everyone sit down. Lu Yan walked straight to the main seat and sat down. Yan Jin also went to his seat and sat down, leaving Sima Yue and the rest standing in the middle. Everyone sat down. A few of them looked at Sima Yue subconsciously when they saw her. Sect Master, what's the matter? Vice Sect Master Mo Wei, who was sitting beside him, asked. 2 days ago, Yan Jin came back. When he saw him, he informed all the important people in the sect to gather for a meeting. Even those who were in seclusion were called out. This kind of urgency and grandeur had never happened before. Okay. From now on, she's my disciple. Lu Yan pointed at Sima Yue. What? You actually took in a female disciple? Mo Wei cried out. Why are you? Lu Yan glanced at her, and she swallowed the rest of her words. Sect Master, what's so good about this child that you took her as your disciple? Yue, show them that thing. Lu Yan was too lazy to talk nonsense. He directly told her to use her actions to tell everyone the reason. Sima Yue took out the bone flute. When they saw the bone flute, the entire meeting hall was in an uproar. This is a bone flute? Is it really a bone flute? You found the bone flute? Heavens! It really is. Everyone looked at the bone flute, and none of them could remain calm. If Lu Yan wasn't here, they might not even be able to resist the urge to snatch it. Is this a real bone flute? Mo Wei asked. Yes, I've verified it myself. Yan Jin said. I know. She used this as a condition to become your disciple? Mo Wei looked at Sima Yue with disdain. However, even if you want to take back the bone flute, you don't have to take her as your disciple. There are many ways for the sound gate to express their gratitude. Sima Yue could feel that this unrealistically beautiful woman was hostile towards her. Was it because she was jealous that she had become her disciple? However, her haughty and charitable look was really unpleasant to look at. The bone flute is mine. Sima Yue spoke up, interrupting Mo Wei's words. I came here because Yan Jin said that the sound sect only wants the bone flute to return to the sect. They don't have to take the bone flute back. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have joined the sound gate. She didn't come here to ask for charity. She didn't like it and disdained it. She's right. The bone flute is hers. Lu Yan said. What? You're not taking back the bone flute? Mo Wei exclaimed. How can that be? The meeting hall suddenly quieted down. Everyone hadn't calmed down from the joy of finding the bone flute when they heard this thunderous news. Gate Master? They looked at Lu Yan, hoping that they had misheard. Just as she said, she has no obligation to return the bone flute. Lu Yan said, the bone flute has been lost for too long. Although it was created by ancestor, what right does she have to return it? But the bone flute has always been the sound gate's treasure. It must be in the sound gate. Mo Wei said firmly. Yes, so she's my disciple now. Since she's my disciple, she's naturally a member of the sound gate. Lu Yan said indifferently. Besides, whether I take in a disciple or not is my own business. Vice Gate Master, aren't you meddling too much? You. Mo Wei was choked speechless by his words. But he was right. He had the freedom to take in a disciple. No one could interfere. Gate Master. The others still wanted to persuade him. It wasn't about the matter of him taking in a disciple, but about the bone flute. The bone flute was so important. How could he not take it back? You don't have to say any more. The matter has already been decided, Lu Yan said. Yan Jin, bring Yu Yue and the others down and arrange a place for them to stay. Yan Jin was a little surprised. How could he, a person who had left the sect for a long time, handle this kind of thing? But thinking that Yu Yue and the others didn't know anyone else, he accepted the order and brought them down. After they left, Mo Wei couldn't help but ask. Lu Yan, you didn't take back the bone flute and still took her as a disciple. Is it because she looks like Zhishuan? Hearing Zhishuan's name, Lu Yan's body stiffened for a moment. He said indifferently, she is her. Zhishuan is Zhishuan. Is that so? Other than this reason, I can't think of any other reason that would make you change your attitude and take her as a disciple. You even ignored the sect's many years of hard work and allowed her to keep the bone flute. Oh, then tell me, what should we do? Lu Yan chuckled. But everyone present knew that he was unhappy. However, perhaps Mo Wei was angered by him taking in a disciple. She didn't look at his face. Or perhaps she saw it and ignored it. She snorted and said, she just wants to enter our sound sect. We can just find someone to take her in as a disciple. The bone flute is our most valuable treasure. We should take it back, even if we have to use some necessary means sometimes. Necessary means? Isn't this what you used to do often? In the past, no matter what, you would always think of the sect. How could you allow a stranger to do as she pleases? Mo Wei emphasized the word stranger, indicating that he wasn't normal. Seems like you've thought it through, Lu Yan said. Then do you know who she is? What's her strength? What's her background? Didn't you also not care about this before? Mo Wei sneered. Then do you know who she is? The others heard some clues and asked, Sect Master, what's the background of this girl? She's the Ghost King's granddaughter, Yukuluo's daughter, Sima Yuyue. Even if she's the Ghost King's daughter, we don't have to be afraid of her. If the Ghost King appears, I'm afraid she'll return the bone flute to us. They were the hidden sect. Even the Ghost King can't easily offend them. I haven't finished speaking. Other than being the little princess personally conferred by the Ghost King, she's also the young mistress of the Nine Nether clan. They just came down from the Nine Nether mountain before they came. Net. Chapter 2020. Nine Nether Mountain? Are you really talking about that Nine Nether Mountain? The people from Sound Sect did not quite believe it. That Nine Nether Mountain hasn't appeared for a long time, right? Are they really still in the ghost realm? Mo Wei asked. If you don't believe it, and don't want to lose your life, you can try looking for that Chanjiu beside her. Lu Yan said. Go? If that was really the case, then how should they deal with it? If she really is the Nine Nether young master, then we really need to consider it. Someone agreed. I didn't expect her background to be so strong. Also, the two guards beside her, you all saw them just now. Do you feel that their aura is different? Lu Yan asked. Although they have restrained their aura so that people can't detect it, the feeling seems to be different. Why, is there a problem with them? There's no problem, but their identities are. They are the left and right envoys of the Underworld King. Since she came to the Ghost Realm, they have been protecting her. By the way, let me remind you, Chanjiu is also the right envoy of the Nine Nether. Everyone gasped. The three people beside her were so quiet that it was easy to overlook. They actually had identities. Sect Master, is this true? This is too unreal. How could there be someone with such a strong background? You can verify it yourselves. Lu Yan said. If any of you want to make a move on her, you don't have to worry about it on my account. But if anything happens, she won't hold back on my account. Everyone was speechless. Verify it? Was there a need? Lu Yan had never lied to them, and there was no need to lie to them because of this. This disciple recruitment is my own matter. Because you all have put in a lot of effort in managing the sect all these years, I will explain it to you all today. However, I hope you haven't forgotten my previous rules. Alright, you can all disperse. Lu Yan left after she finished speaking, leaving the people from Sound sect to look at each other. Mo Wei's expression was very ugly. Everyone in the sect knew that she was in a bad mood, so no one dared to provoke her. She also stayed far away from everyone. Mo Wei did not care what others thought of her, and left with a heavy face. After she left, the atmosphere in the meeting hall eased up. Vice Sect Master Mo's aura is really a little unbearable. Sigh, it's because she's unhappy. Great Elder, why is the Vice Sect leader so opposed to the sect leader taking in disciples? Someone asked the question that was on everyone's mind. Speaking of which, there's a reason behind it. Great Elder Jingfu sighed. She's unwilling. Great Elder, don't keep us in suspense. What's going on? Jingfu stroked his long beard and said faintly, that year, when the vice headmaster entered our sect, he was young and arrogant and insisted on challenging the headmaster. Since the sect leader had defeated her, she would have to acknowledge the sect leader as her master. At that time, the sect master was still not the young sect master. If he was unwilling to accept a disciple, he naturally could not force it. Moreover, in the eyes of others, the vice sect leader had a noble status. Naturally, only the old sect leader would accept her. From then on, the two of them became martial siblings. How long has it been? Deputy sect leader. You don't have to hold a grudge for so long, do you? It's not over yet. Jingfu chuckled and said, sect leader had rejected the vice sect leader as a disciple. It would have been fine if that had been the end of it. Who would have thought that after rejecting the vice sect leader, he would take in a female disciple? Oh, it's Jishuan. Of course, the vice sect leader's arrogant heart could not take it. Hence, he made things difficult for Jishuan behind the sect leader's back. Actually, we all know that she likes the sect leader. That's why she was jealous. However, this is a woman's nature. Hence, it was not strange. And then? Later, Jishuan went out on a mission and died. The vice sect leader was the one who asked her to go on that mission. Hence, the sect leader also blamed the vice sect leader. This is also the reason why our sect leader and vice sect leader have been at odds for so many years. Jingfu stroked his beard again and chuckled. How is it? Melodramatic, right? Everyone. Great Elder, you have the highest status other than them. You should at least pay attention to your image. No wonder the two of them have been at odds. The sect leader and vice sect leader are at odds. This is making things difficult for your subordinates. Jingfu felt sorry for the stewards. Great Elder, if you really care about us, then you should take care of the sect's affairs. Don't let them do everything. Since then, the sect leader has never accepted a female disciple. Today he suddenly accepted Sima Yue as his disciple. Furthermore, she looks a little similar to Jishuan back then. Hence, the vice sect leader naturally wants to cause trouble with him. However, I think it's also because the vice sect leader is used to controlling her. In the past, even if he ignored her, he also ignored others. Now that he suddenly has a female disciple, his heart can't accept it. Jingfu said with a smile of exultation. Everyone looked at him with a whole new level of respect. Great Elder, I didn't know that you were a walking gossip. Why didn't I notice your potential in this area before? You're more interested in the affairs between men and women. The sect leader doesn't care about the sect's affairs. Now that the vice sect leader is like this, there will be a lot of fun to watch in the future. If you want to watch other people's fun, I think it won't be long before other people come to watch our fun. Let me tell you first. No matter what you think in your heart, Sima Yue is already a member of our Sound sect. She is the sect leader's little disciple. Her status is higher than all of you. What will happen to her is the Sound sect's affairs. Do you remember clearly? Remember clearly, remember clearly. Thank you, Great Elder, for your advice. Alright, all of you go. Do your own work. Jingfu waved his hand impatiently at them and chased them away. He snorted in his heart. What a bunch of gossipy people. Yen Jin brought Sima Yue and the rest to look for the steward. Only when he arrived did he remember that the steward was still in a meeting. When he looked for the people below, they didn't know where to arrange for her. In the end, he could only bring them to Lu Yan's courtyard. When Lu Yan returned, she saw the people waiting outside. Didn't I ask you to arrange a place to stay? Sect leader, I haven't lived here for a long time. How would I know which peaks are empty? Wasn't the steward in charge still inside at that time? I had no choice but to bring her back. Yanjin said. Stay at the small peak next to it. Lu Yan said. She looked at Wu Lingyu and the rest and asked, You want to join too? Then go register later. Ordinary people are not allowed to bring guards with them in the secret sect. I don't want to join the sound sect. Wu Lingyu said. We will hide. Huan said. If the three of them wanted to hide, who would be able to find them? So they just ignored them. Anyway, the others also brought their own secret guards. What about these three? Don't Qing Kai have servants? Then I can have 2 servants too, right? Sima Yu asked. Net. Chapter 2021. Lu Yan didn't comment on what she said and didn't say much. She just let Yanjin bring them to a small mountain nearby. This small mountain was different from the others. Although it had a peak, it was connected to Lu Yan's main peak, so it was considered a single mountain. No one has ever lived on this small mountain before. You're the first. Yanjin brought them to an empty space and prepared to build a house here. That vice sect leader seems to be very hostile towards me. Do you know why? Sima Yue asked him. What else could it be? She's not jealous. Yanjin didn't like this vice sect leader. She likes my master? Tell me what's going on. Sima Yue blinked, her eyes full of good intentions. Why are you so nice? Yanjin glanced at her. Everyone has a gossip gene in their body. Not just me, you must have it too. Otherwise, how would you know these things? Sima Yue said. All right, tell me what's going on. I heard Master mention it before. Back then. What Yanjin said was similar to what Great Elder Jingfu said. The only difference was that he didn't see Zhishuan's face and didn't know that the two looked similar. What a drama. Sima Yue sighed. This woman, once she's blinded by jealousy, it's scary. It's better to stay away from her in the future. Otherwise, she'll do something to me. How miserable would that be? That's not impossible. The sect leader has never taken in a female disciple before, so we don't know to what extent she'll be provoked or what she'll do. Yanjin said. It's better if you avoid her in the future. She came here to learn, not to deal with those boring things. These things should be avoided as much as possible. However, what she didn't know was that when Mo Wei found out that she lived on the small mountain, she was so angry that she crushed the teacup in her hand and cut her palm until it bled. Vice sect leader, you can't do this to yourself. Her maid Lu Su came forward and quickly took the shards from her hand and treated her wound. Mo Wei pulled her hand out coldly and said indifferently, Don't worry about it. Vice sect leader, you can be angry, but you can't vent your anger on your own hands. Aren't our hands the most important thing? After Lu Su persuaded her for a while, she took out a pill and handed it to her. Although Mo Wei was angry, she still took the pill and ate it. That Sima Yue, why is she so lucky? Why did she look so much like that woman? That woman, even after so many years, I still couldn't pull her out of his heart. All these years, I've done so much, but he didn't see it at all. He wasn't touched. Did I feed all those things I made to the dogs? The more Mo Wei spoke, the angrier she got. She threw the porcelain next to her to the ground. The soft sound of porcelain shattering seemed to be the sound of her heart breaking. Lu Su had followed Mo Wei for so many years, but she had never seen her so angry. Even when the sect leader gave her a hard time, she was never this angry. This woman has been dead for so many years. Yet she still wants to send someone similar to her to annoy me. Lu Yan did it on purpose. He wants to tell me that he will never forget her in this lifetime. Mo Wei lost control. Her body trembled as she screamed. Vice sect leader, since she's already here, it's useless for you to be angry about this. Why don't we do something? Do something? How? How would I dare to do it? Do you know her background? Mo Wei was most angry about this. If she was just an ordinary woman, she could just think of a way to kill her. However, her background was so strong that she didn't dare to touch her. When she thought about how this woman had to live under her nose, and how he actually let her live in the small mountain, She was so angry that her whole body hurt. Could it be that her background is more honorable than yours? Lu Su asked in surprise. Mo Wei's expression was very bad. When she talked about Sima Yoyue's background, Lu Su couldn't react for a moment. There was actually someone in the ghost realm who had such a background. No wonder her master was so angry but didn't think of doing anything to her. She really felt hopeless when she heard about her background. How could such a person be treated the same way as those people? The room was silent for a while. Lu Su said, "Vice sect leader, actually, if you want to vent your anger, it's not impossible." "What did you think of?" "You were busy, so I didn't tell you much about the other matters in the sect. However, when I went out today, I heard that she had a grudge with the Beast Tamer Guild." Lu Su said, "I heard that she injured the son of the Beast Tamer Guild's vice sect leader and the guards. If it wasn't for the sect leader who went to pick her up, I'm afraid she would have died by now. The sect has never cared about the matters of the sect's disciples. As long as there's some guidance." Mo Wei's expression eased a lot. There was even a faint smile in her eyes. "What's going on? Tell me about it." Lu Su saw that she wasn't so irritable anymore, and heaved a long sigh of relief. While she was furious, Sima Yoyue's side was in full swing. Everyone in the sect knew that she was a person of status, and they all ran over to help. Although they didn't know the details, if even the vice sect leader had to tolerate her, she must be very powerful. Therefore, it was better to build a good relationship with her first. Wu Lingyu saw so many people trying to curry favor, and his face turned sour. "It's not the first time you've seen such a scene. Are you still not used to it?" Black Shadow teased him. "It's none of your business." Wu Lingyu didn't even look at him. "Why don't you stay here? It's not bad to learn sound attacks." Black Shadow continued to tease him. Wu Lingyu directly left, leaving him with a faint back view. Black Shadow snorted and saw him walk over to Sima Yoyue's side. Sima Yue said something and his gloominess disappeared, replaced by a clear sky. Sure enough, she understood him better and knew how to comfort him. Bandit 1 brought 2 people from the bottom of the mountain. When he saw the courtyard she had first seen, he said, "You built it quite quickly. Don't I have so many fellow sect members to help me?" Sima Yue said with a smile. "Why are you here?" "I heard that you're living on a small mountain peak, so I came to take a look." Bandit 1 explained, "You don't know, but the news that someone is living on a small mountain peak has already spread throughout the sect. Sect leader Lu doesn't have any female disciples, so everyone is doing well. Who exactly is it that can gain his favor and let you live so close to him?" "You're not such a gossipy person." Sima Yue smiled. "Are you here to pick up Lingyu? That's also one of my motives. I've already told sect leader that he wants to see Lingyu. As for you, you shouldn't be there so quickly." Bandit 1 said to Wu Lingyu, "Let's go." Net. Chapter 2022. Wu Lingyu left with Bandit Yi, Huan, Heiying and Danjiu went into hiding. Sima Yue was left with only Fuxi, Haishi and Haixing. The people from the sound sect saw that she left the 3 dolls behind and said, "You left the 3 dolls behind. Are they going to take care of you or are you going to take care of them? Why don't we send a few over?" "What do you mean send a few? I think you want to send yourselves over?" Great Elder Jing Fu slapped the person who spoke. "You little brats, hurry up and cultivate. Your martial granduncle will surpass you soon. Martial granduncle's seniority is higher than ours. There's no shame in surpassing us. You're still talking back? Do you want to face the wall and reflect on your mistakes?" Jing Fu blew at his beard and those people immediately ran away. Sima Yue felt that this old man was quite amusing. "Yue, I didn't get to know you properly that day. I am the Great Elder of the Sound Sect, Jing Fu. You can call me Martial Uncle, Great Elder or Elder Fu in the future," Jing Fu said. "Martial Uncle." Sima Yue chose a more intimate form of address. "And I came to see how you're doing here," Jing Fu said. "It's almost done. I just need to decorate the interior," Sima Yue replied. Originally, it would take a few more days, but with so many people coming to help her, the courtyard was built very quickly. They couldn't interfere with the decorations in the house. "Good, if you need anything, just tell the sect." "Oh, tell me, I can help you with the arrangements. Jingfu said. Thank you, Marshal Uncle. I don't need anything at the moment. If I do, I will definitely look for you. Sima Yue said politely. That's good. Jingfu nodded. Yue, you've been in the sect for a few days. Have you seen the vice sect leader? Sima Yue understood that this martial uncle was here to gossip, right? Yan Jin said that he was a very gossipy person. Now it seemed that it was true. The vice sect leader is very busy with the matters at the gate. I've been building the courtyard all this time. How would I have time to meet him? She smiled and said. Oh. Sima Yue heard disappointment and anticipation in his reply. I've heard about the matter between you and the Beast Tamer sect. The people of the Beast Tamer sect aren't magnanimous. Now that you've embarrassed them, they'll definitely find trouble with you. Jingfu said, we won't meddle in the affairs of the same generation, but if anyone from the Beast Tamer sect makes a move, you can inform us. The Great Elder said. Yes, I will. Sima Yue nodded, indicating that she understood. There are many dangers in the Yin sect. Be careful when you go out. Jingfu reminded him again before leaving. This guy really doesn't know how to act like an old man. He's already so old, yet he's still so nice to everyone. Fushi said disdainfully. Uncle Master, it's fine. That cheap master of mine hasn't come even once, but at least he came to see me. Sima Yue said. All right, each of you go and choose your own house. Tell me how you want to decorate it. If you don't have it, report it to the sect and let them buy it. All right. The three of them each went to choose a house and took out everything that they already had. Sima Yue replenished some for them and reported the rest to the sect. Very soon, someone came to deliver it to them. When she was almost done tidying up the courtyard, Lu Yan finally remembered her disciple and sent someone to call her over. She also brought her 3 little fellows along. Master. Sima Yue went to Lu Yan's cultivation room. Lu Yan's long hair was draped lazily over her shoulders as she sat behind the zither. Once they entered, Lu Yan stopped playing the zither and looked at the 3 of them, saying, Have you thought about keeping them by your side? Yes, I've thought about it. Sima Yue replied. Hi family, you should know that since you've made such a decision, it means that you've already thought about the possible troubles that you might encounter. Then I won't ask you about it. Lu Yan said. As for the other one, although I don't know what your identity is over there, you shouldn't affect the safety of the Yin sect. Otherwise, I wouldn't be protecting you. By saying this, it meant that he agreed for them to stay. Thank you, Master. Lu Yan let the 3 little fellows leave and said to Sima Yue, I called you here today to test your talent in this area. I'll play a song, and you can tell me what you heard. After saying this, he began to play the zither. This was the second time that Sima Yue heard him play the zither. It was different from the sharp and broken sound this time. This time, his song was much gentler and made people feel relaxed and happy. The people in the Yin sect hadn't heard him play the zither for a long time. In the past, he used other instruments. Although he often held the zither, he rarely let people hear his zither music. This was a quiet and joyful song. After the song ended, the hearts of those who heard it calmed down and went to do their own things happily. Lu Yan could feel the reactions of those people outside. He purposely let them hear it today so that he could be right. However, Sima Yue didn't relax. Instead, she frowned slightly. What did you hear? The 2 of them looked at each other. He wanted to see her reaction. Although accepting her as a disciple was already a foregone conclusion, he still wanted to see her talent. He hoped that she wouldn't be too bad. However, she was frowning. Could it be that she didn't hear the concept of the song? You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you didn't hear anything. Then I'll say it. Sima Yue looked at him and said carefully, Master, the song you chose is peaceful and cheerful. Even the most impetuous heart will calm down after hearing this song. However what? Is it because I didn't play it well? How can I comment on Master's skills? It's my feeling. When Master played, there was a faint longing in it. When I first heard it, my heart was happy. However, towards the end, it made me a little sad. Lu Yan was stunned for a moment. She actually heard the longing in it. It was a very faint longing. Very good. You can actually hear the emotions in it. He looked at her approvingly. Is there anything else? I feel that longing is separate from other emotions. The latter is the concept of this song. However, longing is Master's own feelings. Sima Yue said. Master, are you thinking of someone? Lu Yen fiddled with the zither again and said. I thought of your senior sister. At that time, she also casually sat in front of me like you. She supported her cheeks with both hands. Even the smile in her eyes was very similar. Company commander was also somewhat similar. It made him a little absent-minded. Chapter 2023. Master, are you talking about senior sister Jixuan? I've heard Yanqing mention her before. Sima Yue said. Master, you've been brooding over her death, and you've been blaming yourself, right? Did you hear this from the zither too? Lu Yen did not deny it. Most of it, I guess the rest. Sima Yue said. Master, there's no lingering feelings between lovers in your thoughts. So it shouldn't be that you like her as they said. Senior sister has been dead for so many years, but you still can't let it go. The biggest possibility is that you're blaming yourself. Lu Yen sighed softly. Back then, I knew that Mo Wei was restless, but I still let her go out with everyone. If she had stayed behind the door that time, this wouldn't have happened. I don't know what happened back then, but Master, it's been so many years, you should let it go. Sima Yue persuaded. Your way of comforting people is different from others. Others would say that this matter has nothing to do with me, that I don't need to blame myself, and that I shouldn't think so much. Why do you only ask me to let it go? Her way of persuading was basically saying that what happened back then was his fault. No one would persuade someone like that. Yes, everyone else is persuading you like that, so you blame yourself more and more, and you've trapped yourself in it. No matter what the reason was back then, and whose fault it was, so much time has passed, it's time to let these things disappear in the years. Disappear in the years? Lu Yen murmured. Yes, time is the most tolerant thing in the world, more tolerant than the vicissitudes of life. We don't know what will happen in the future, let the past settle down with time. Sima Yue's voice was charming, as if she had seen the vicissitudes of life. But it was true, she had even seen the origin of life, so she had seen the vicissitudes of life. Moreover, she had experienced life and death a few times, so she was more open-minded about these things. When she spoke, it was more emotional, and had a kind of convincing power. She noticed that Lu Yen was gradually entering a state of emptiness, so she casually set up a barrier, and then carefully retreated. She said to the guard outside, Master is comprehending, don't let anyone in to disturb him. The guard was a little suspicious. How could she have comprehended it after chatting with her for a while? A guard went to the door and took a look. Seeing that Lu Yen had indeed entered a state of enlightenment, and that there was a barrier protecting the room, he retreated and nodded to the other guards. Everyone immediately entered a state of emergency to ensure that from this moment on, until Lu Yen came out herself, no one would be able to enter this room. Sima Yue brought the 3 children back to her own courtyard. Before she had time to rest, a group of people swarmed up like a swarm of bees. As soon as Jing Fu came up, she asked her, Yue, what did you say to the leader? We were just chatting casually. We didn't say anything. Sima Yue did not expect to cause such a huge commotion. Moreover, everyone came to ask her questions. Just casually chatting? A casual chat could make him not comprehend anything for decades, but he just had to comprehend it today? Mo Wei mocked. Sima Yue was furious. Wasn't she implying that something had happened between her and Lu Yen? She sneered. Then according to what Vice Leader said, what should I have said and done with Master? Mo Wei almost blurted out, but swallowed her words. If she followed her words, she did not know what others would think of her. There were some words that she could think but could not say. What did we talk about? Sima Yue asked. At that time there were only the 2 of you. What you said and did, of course, only the 2 of you know. Mo Wei said calmly. If that's the case, why didn't Vice Leader believe me when I said that we were just chatting casually? Sima Yue said. I just felt that chatting casually would not have such a big effect. Mo Wei defended herself. Vice Leader, you're wrong. Enlightenment usually happens when you're chatting casually. A sentence, a word, or even a picture, a tree or a blade of grass, can make someone comprehend something. If it's done deliberately, it won't have any effect. Yue is right. Enlightenment always happens when you're not paying attention. Jingfu agreed with her point of view. But can you tell us about your conversation? Sure. Sima Yue started from Lu Yan playing the zither and repeated the conversation between the two. When they heard that it was about Jixuan, everyone showed an expression of understanding. Lu Yan had not advanced for a long time. It was not that his spiritual power was not enough, but that he had a knot in his heart. This was something that everyone in the Sound sect was well aware of. At first, no one took Jixuan's matter seriously. But slowly, everyone realized that something was wrong. As time passed, Lu Yan could not let go of it. Now, it had become a knot in his heart. If the knot in his heart could not be untied, he would not be able to advance. Lu Yan did not say it before. They had guessed it and told him a lot. They advised him a lot, but it was useless. After so many years, it's still because of Jixuan. Jingfu stroked his beard. Although we guessed it, we couldn't help sect leader resolve this knot in his heart. It's really shameful. Isn't it because she looks like Jixuan? That's why he would listen to her. Mo Wei did not want to admit her mistake and said. Sima Yue was surprised. Looking at Jingfu and the others' reaction, she knew that this was true. No matter what, it's good that sect leader can untie the knot in his heart. If he can advance this time, it'll be even better. Jingfu changed the topic. Even if he did not advance this time, as long as the knot in his heart was untied, there would be a chance in the future. That's right. Let's go to sect leader's place and see if we can do anything. Sima Yue could not wait for them to leave. She did not even ask them to stay. Yanjin stayed and said that he was going back. Didn't you say that you were going to stay in the sect for a while? The Sound sect asked me to go back. I'm the second sect leader. I can't just ignore them. Yanjin said. Speaking of the Sound sect, Sima Yue remembered what happened in the Immortal Witchcraft City. She said seriously, although we're in the same sect now, if I find out what happened in the Immortal Witchcraft City again, I won't be lenient. I know. Yanjin said. When I go back, I'll call everyone back from the ghost realm. We won't expand there in the future. So you're saying that there are still people from the ghost realm? I can't tell you that. Yanjin smiled. If I tell you, they won't be able to live. I won't tell you if you don't want to. Sima Yue did not expect him to say, but you have to be careful when you go back this time. I'm afraid that the evil soul will bring you trouble. If it doesn't work, just tell them that I have it. I'm in the secret sect anyway. They can't do anything to me. Chapter 2024. Yanjin heard her words and raised his eyebrows. Junior Master wants to protect me? You call me Junior Master. Of course I want to protect you. Sima Yue said. But I think with your personality, you won't do that. Sueha won't do anything to me because of him. Yanjin said confidently. Then what about the people behind him? If he could pull strings, it meant that his background was very strong. They don't know that he's with me. If they know, I'll tell them about you. Anyway, you're the one who's going against him. At most, I won't be able to protect him. Yanjin joked. Sima Yue knew that he was capable and knew when to yield, so she didn't have to worry too much about him. When are you leaving? I told you I'm leaving. Is Bandit E going with you? Yes. Then be careful on your way. You too. There are still many dangers in the Yin sect. I know. Yanjin left and Bandit E left. There were 2 less people she knew in the sect. Lu Yan went into seclusion and no one taught her. She brought the 3 little ones to cultivate in the courtyard. Everyone in the Yin sect wanted to see her who had caused so much trouble, but they didn't expect her to not come out. She didn't treat the sect well at all. She didn't leave the sect for 2 months. Was her heart really as calm as water? She didn't even see the 3 little ones by her side. Really? Why was she like an adult at such a young age? She didn't treat anything well. Tell me, why didn't Sima Yue come out? Is she afraid that those people will do something to her? Konoha Chi sat in Jianan Xian's courtyard board. It was too quiet in the sect recently. Those troublemakers weren't there, so there was no show to watch. Do you think she's that kind of person? Jianan Xian asked. Konohachi thought about it and said, from what happened last time, she's not. But she hasn't come out for so long, so people can't help but think so. Xian, what do you think? If it were you, would you stay in the sect for so long? Jianan Xian asked. Of course not, I'd go crazy. Unless I'm in seclusion and don't know how much time has passed. Konohachi said. You have a carefree personality, so you can't stand to cultivate day after day. Therefore, not leaving the mountain for a few months could mean that she is timid and afraid of trouble. Or it could also mean that she has a calm temperament. Jianan analyzed. What else? Do you think she's the second type? She has just arrived at the Sound sect and was accepted as a disciple by sect leader Lu. Has he accepted any female disciples all these years? No. Therefore, there must be a reason why sect master Lu took her in. Jiananshin analyzed. I heard that sect master Lu's breakthrough this time was due to a short conversation with her. That seems to be the case. That's what everyone is saying. Tell me, how did she do it? We don't know how she did it, but we do know about sect master Lu. Although I don't know the reason, there's a knot in his heart that he can't let go of. That's why he can't comprehend it and advance his cultivation. Jiananshin continued. Under such circumstances, she was able to enlighten him with just a single conversation. That's enough to show how amazing she is. Do you think such a person would hide behind a mountain gate because she's afraid? Alright, after your analysis, it doesn't seem like it. Konohachi said. Sai, if she doesn't come out, those people can't find trouble with her. If you want to see her, you can go look for her directly. Jiananshin said. No matter how emotional you are, you won't be able to see her at my place. I don't want to see her. I'm just telling her. Don't I know you? Jiananshin gave him a look to surrender. He pursed his lips and said, let's go then. Since she knew what he was thinking, she knew his motive as well. Jiananshin stood up and walked out. They were not the only ones who treated Sima Yue well. Everyone in the secret sect treated her very well. However, they did not have any interactions with her, and had no reason to see her. When Sima Yue heard that Jiananshin and the others were looking for her, she was stunned for a moment. Then she let the messenger bring them in. Sima Yue, why are you holed up here and not going out? If you don't go out, I won't be able to watch the show. Konohachi complained when he saw her. Sima Yue remembered that this guy helped her in the small town because he wanted to watch the show. However, after so long, he still did not come out, so he came looking for her? So it's the two geniuses from the formation sect. She received the two in the courtyard and waved her hand to signal them to go to the living room. In front of Wu Lingyu, the two of us are not worthy of being called geniuses, Jiananshin said. She saw the tea set in the pavilion in the courtyard and said, Are you drinking tea? Yes, I'm talking to the little one about cultivation. I'm thirsty. Then let's sit in the courtyard. After saying that, he walked over. Sima Yue had no choice but to bring the two to the pavilion. She put away the tea set and made tea for the two of them. Konohachi saw that she was making tea and asked, You don't have a maid here? No, it's just me and the 3 children. Sima Yue said. When you're with the 3 children, it's not them who take care of you, it's you who takes care of them. Konohachi had never seen someone like her. If she did not bring a maid or a servant, if she did not come alone, she was the first to bring a child. However, the tea is not bad. If I had a maid, you wouldn't be able to drink this tea. Sima Yue said, Did the 2 of you come here today to ask me this? Yes. If you don't go out, no one will dare to look for you here. Otherwise, it's not looking for trouble, it's looking for death. Konohachi said. You've been here for more than 2 months. Don't tell me you don't treat the insect well? A little. Then why don't you go out and take a look? There's no rush. I'll go when I have time. Are you waiting for your master to come out? Even if your master successfully comes out, he won't care about you. That's not the reason. I'm here to learn. Of course, I have to study first. When I'm tired, I'll go out. This is called balancing work and rest. You've been studying for more than 2 months and you're not tired yet. I've just started, so I'm very interested. Actually, Sima Yue knew that these were all excuses. She just did not want to go out. It was not that she was afraid of trouble, but she did not want to deal with it now and waste her time. Unless she had no other choice, she would not go out. You're so young. Why do you have the mentality of an old woman? Sima Yue smiled but did not say anything. There were some things that she could not tell others. At this moment, the spiritual energy in the air suddenly exploded and swarmed towards Lu Yan's courtyard. It formed a whirlpool and entered his room. Chapter 2025. There was a huge commotion here, and the entire Yin sect was shaken. After so many years, he finally advanced again. Yin sect's sect master Ning Tianya looked in the direction of the small mountain and said emotionally, "Yes, after so many years, he finally let it go." An old man was studying the chessboard on the table and looked up at the small mountain. Wasn't that the face of the boss of the small town's inn? I heard that it was his new disciple who helped him get rid of the knot in his heart. Ning Tianya asked. That's right. That little girl is a smart child. The innkeeper said. I thought that it was good enough that she helped him get rid of those things, but I didn't expect that she could help him advance. So you've seen her? Yes, she stayed at my place for a few days. The innkeeper said. A girl that even you praise, looks like I can meet her. Ning Tianya was interested in Sima Yue. What are you going to do? You'll scare the little girl for no reason. The innkeeper said faintly. I won't ask her to come here. Ning Tianya said. I can't just meet her anywhere. All right, then you can dress up as an old man who sweeps the floor. That won't scare her. The innkeeper teased him. This isn't impossible. You're also bored. Aren't you the same? Otherwise, why would you run outside and become an innkeeper? We're all the same, let's not talk about each other. Ning Tianya looked at the small mountain again. Looks like you've succeeded. General. Sima Yue looked at the commotion and smiled. She didn't expect him to really advance. I still have something to do, so I won't entertain the two of you. Originally, they didn't have anything to do, but when they saw the situation, they knew that Lu Yan was about to advance. Naturally, they couldn't stay any longer and left after bidding farewell. Sima Yue went to Lu Yan's courtyard, and all the important people in the sect were there. When they saw her, everyone greeted her. Not to mention that she helped Lu Yan advance. She was Lu Yan's little disciple, and her seniority was higher than many people. She came to Jing Fu's side and asked, Martial uncle, with master's condition, can he succeed? Looking at the situation, he should have succeeded. Jing Fu said, the spiritual energy in his body is sufficient, even more than enough. It's only because of the knot in his heart that he hasn't been able to advance. The accumulation from before was just enough to ensure that he had enough strength to break through the barrier. These vortexes of spirit power are the replenishment of his body's energy after his advancement. It's good that you succeeded. Right now, we can't be completely sure that we've succeeded. Many people have regressed after reaching this step. We have to. Jing Fu felt that she had jinxed it. Before she could finish her sentence, something had already happened. The turbulent energy suddenly began to sway, and the vortex began to shrink, even showing signs of dissipating. Martial uncle, what's going on? Sima Yue asked. The sovereign's advancement requires too much spiritual energy, and the spiritual energy here is not enough to supply it, so it's not enough for the follow-up. Jing Fu shouted. Sima Yue knew what would happen if he ran out of spiritual energy. If Lu Yan did not absorb enough energy, he would fail the advancement. The energy he absorbed just now was enough for him to advance. Why is there still a situation where there is insufficient energy? Someone shouted. Don't think too much. Quickly think of how to replenish the sovereign's energy. Jing Fu shouted. It would be great if we could absorb all this spiritual energy. Sima Yue looked at the vortex that was getting smaller and smaller. She only hesitated for 2 seconds before leaping onto the roof, right in the middle of the vortex. Why did she go there? Does she think that she can attract spiritual energy from there? Lu Su mocked. No one knew what Sima Yue was doing there. At this moment, Other than gathering the surrounding spiritual energy faster, doing anything else was futile. What is she looking at? If she's here, will it affect the sovereign's advancement? Should we pull him down? Go. Is the sovereign's advancement something that she can interfere with? The situation is very dangerous now. It's not the time for her to play around. Mo Wei shouted coldly. Wait. Jing Fu stopped Lu Su, who was about to grab Sima Yue. She's making a move. Sima Yue took out some array stones and threw them around the house. Many people could tell that she was setting up an array. Mo Wei turned to Jing Fu and shouted, Great Elder, what do you mean by this? Are you going to let her do as she pleases? Her presence doesn't affect the spiritual energy. Why don't we see what she's going to do? Jing Fu said. Or do you have a way to help the sovereign absorb the spiritual energy? Mo Wei was speechless. What could she do now? The spiritual energy wouldn't gather here just because of her music. Since you don't have a way, we can only put our hopes on her. Jing Fu looked at Sima Yue, hoping that she really had a way. Mo Wei had no other way. Since Jing Fu said so, Sima Yue wouldn't be affected by her presence. She could only let her do as she pleased. She had set up this array many times. When she was in vast region, it was very difficult for her to set it up. Now that her strength had increased and she was familiar with the array, she was able to set it up very quickly. Then, she took out a spirit gathering pearl and placed it in the eye of the array. Once the spirit gathering pearl was in place, the entire array was activated. Everyone present could feel the spiritual energy from the surroundings rushing towards them. The whirlpool gradually grew bigger. Spirit gathering array. A cry of surprise came from outside the courtyard. Then two people came out from the space. Sovereign Hu, why are you here? Mo Wei greeted them. She knew these two people. They were the sovereign of the array sect, Hu, and the sovereign of the spirit-seeking sect, Lu. We felt that the spiritual energy from his advancement wasn't enough, so we came to see if there was anything we could do to help. But now, it seems that we don't need to do anything. Hu said. Many thanks to the two of you. I didn't expect such a perfect spirit gathering array to be set up by a little girl like her. She set it up very quickly and the array is very stable. It seems like her array skills are just like what Fei Yi said. Her foundation is very good. Hu Hai looked at Sima Yue with interest. What? You want to snatch her away from us? Jing Fu was unhappy. This guy's gaze was too strange. There's no rule that says people who join the sound sect can't join the array sect. Hu said. It meant that he really had this idea. After Sima Yue finished setting up the array, she stopped in the air. Although the spiritual energy had increased, it still wasn't enough. She had already reached this stage. If she failed again, then all her efforts would be wasted. Although the sect didn't care about the fights between disciples, with a powerful master, her life would be more peaceful in the future. Thinking of this, she took out a piece of ore that she hadn't opened yet. Chapter 2026. Or, what else does Yue want to do? No matter what she wants to do, it should be helpful to the sect master. Jing Fu trusted Sima Yue very much and wasn't worried that anything would happen to her. Lu looked at the ore and narrowed his eyes. Hu saw his subtle reaction and said, Is that ore very rare? From the surface of the stone, it should be an ancient ore. However, we need to examine it closely to know what's inside. Sima Yue's sudden action made his breath catch, and he wanted to curse. How could she waste an ore like this? She didn't use any tools and directly used spiritual energy to open it. Wasn't this wasting the ore? As a seeker spirit master, his lungs were about to explode from anger when he saw this. Sima Yue threw away the surface of the stone and revealed the intact spirit stone inside, blocking Li's anger. So powerful, she actually opened the ore like this. This is the first time I've seen someone open the ore like this. She's so powerful. The people of the sound sect now felt that Sima Yue was indeed outstanding. Not to mention her sound attack, just her array and seeker spirit master were enough to make people look up to her. What's the use of opening the spirit stone at this time? Is she trying to show off? Lu Su's voice was neither loud nor soft. She seemed to be talking to herself. but everyone could hear her. The sect master of the Seeker Spirit sect was here. If she could gain his approval, she could even go there to learn. Therefore, Lu Su said this because she wanted everyone to think in this direction. However, no one followed her words. Although they also knew why she did this at this time. Only Anila knew. Sima Yue inserted the spirit stone into the center of the array, which happened to be at the center of the whirlpool. A majestic amount of spiritual energy poured out from the spirit stone, and was absorbed by Lu Yin along with the spiritual energy in the air. The spirit stone was only the size of 2 fists, but it actually had an endless amount of spiritual energy. It wasn't any less than the spiritual energy in the air. This spirit stone. Needless to say, it was priceless. Sima Yue flew down from the sky. With the spirit gathering array and this spirit stone, it should be enough. You already knew what was inside the ore? Anilo asked her. Sima Yue did not know who he was, but since he came at this time, they should be close. I know. I've been studying that for a long time, she replied. Do you know that if you directly open the stone, it's very likely that you'll damage it? As a Seeker Spirit Master, don't you feel heartache for treating ores like this? Anilo asked again. I knew it would be bad. Actually, I was also surprised that the meeting went so well. Sima Yue was also surprised by this result. I initially thought that it would be a little worse, but even so, the spiritual energy is still inside the spirit gathering array and it won't leak out. So that was her plan. They really thought that she had absolute confidence in herself. With Sima Yue's help, Lu Yan's advancement went smoothly. 2 days later, he successfully exited his seclusion. Congratulations, Sect Master, for successfully advancing. The people of the Sound Sect were all waiting outside. When they saw him coming out, they congratulated him in unison. Lu Yan nodded at them, then turned her gaze to Sima Yue. Sima Yue smiled at him. Congratulations, Master. Thank you. He thanked her for untying the knot in his heart. He thanked her for what she did for him. When he advanced, he felt that his spiritual energy was insufficient. He originally thought that he would fail this time, but then he felt the power outside and knew what Sima Yue did for him. It was because of the spiritual energy that she attracted to him that he was able to advance smoothly. Therefore, he was grateful to her from the bottom of his heart. This kind of gratitude could not be expressed with words. I'll talk to you later, Lu Yan said to her. This meant that he wanted to talk to her alone. Sima Yue nodded and stood behind him. She followed him and watched those people congratulate him. The people of the Sound Sect had a good celebration. The other sects also sent gifts. After 2 days of excitement, the Sound Sect finally calmed down. Lu Yan prepared to chat with Sima Yue, but before he could say anything, he was called by the sect master. Before he left, he told Yue that the Formation Sect and Seeker Spirit Sect's sect master invited her to be a guest. Lu Yan went to Ning Tianya's place. She returned to her courtyard and saw Wu Lingyu who was waiting there. Why are you here? She smiled and went to greet him. I'm here under orders this time. Wu Lingyu pinched her face. You caused such a big commotion and successfully attracted the sect master's attention. He wants to talk to you. I didn't want to either. Who knew that such a situation would happen? Sima Yue smiled. If master advances in rank, wouldn't my protective umbrella become even more powerful? Sect master and I was also attracted by you. So she wanted to invite you over. I've already sent away the person who came, Wu Lingyu said. What happened? Needless to say, the person who came was definitely a man, and he was not bad-looking. However, there was no need to fuss over such a small matter. I'll go when I'm free. Then I'll go when I'm free, Sima Yue said. Shall we go to your place now? Okay. After agreeing, they left the mountain gate half a day later and went to the Array sect. She talked to the Array sect master for a long time. Although he did not say that she would join the Array sect immediately, she could go to the Array sect to learn at any time. After coming out of the Array sect, Wu Lingyu wanted to send her back, but Sima Yue refused. I'm going to the Sun Ling sect, she said. I haven't come out for so long. Some people are anxious and think that I'm afraid of them. We have to give them a chance no matter what. Okay. Be careful. Wu Lingyu sent her to the mountain gate and went back. She leisurely went to the Sunling sect alone. After Enailu knew that she was coming, he asked someone to invite her to his place. I thought that you wouldn't come today, Enailu said. Sect master and I invited me. How can I not come? Sima Yue smiled and bowed. Aren't you afraid of trouble? Regardless of whether I come out or not, the trouble will be there and it won't disappear. The beast tamers would not give her trouble just because she did not come out. They would only hate her more. Your words are quite philosophical, Enailu said. I just happened to get some ores today. I haven't appraised them yet. Do you want to come with me? Okay. Sima Yue accepted his invitation and followed him to the place where they kept the ores. The place where the Sunling sect kept the ores was in a very big hall. It was divided into many small compartments. The small compartments did not have doors, and one could see the ores inside. Sima Yue meowed over and found that there were many good things inside. What do you think of this place? Enailu asked. It's not bad. It's all good stuff, Sima Yue replied. Then are you interested in coming here? If you come, you can appraise all these ores. Chapter 2027. Sima Yue smiled. I've only been apprentice for 2 to 3 months. Master told me to study hard. You're still young. You have plenty of time. Enailu was not angry at her rejection. I want to study hard too, but I shouldn't bite off more than I can chew. Let's take it slow. I'll learn other things in the future if I have the chance. Sima Yue said. If you want to learn in the future, you can come over anytime. As long as I'm still the sect leader. Enailu said. Okay. Sima Yue said. Come and take a look. These were moved back today. Enailu brought her to a small cubicle and pointed at the ores in the cubicle. Although it was called a small cubicle, each one was as big as a football field and more than 10 stories high. There were many ores on the ground. The big ones were almost at the top while the small ones were only the size of a fist. A few spirit masters were appraising the ores. Sima Yue thought that Enailu was just being polite when he said that the ores had just arrived today. She did not expect it to be true. The ores were of different grades and did not have the spirit-seeking sex label. So they had just returned and had not been classified yet. The people in the cubicle saw them and immediately stopped to bow, saying, Sect leader. Go and do your own things. I'll bring Yue to take a look. Enailu said. Grandmaster, is this the Yue who has been the talk of the town recently? A man in a green robe looked at Sima Yue and asked. Yes. Enailu nodded and then introduced to Sima Yue. This is my disciple Liancheng. Liancheng cupped his hands towards Sima Yue saying, I've always been good at opening stones with my bare hands. Those people say that our spirit seeker sex people are all powerful. Since we've met today, can you let us experience it? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Was this a provocation? The Beast Tamers Guild had not come to find trouble with her, but they had met here first. Hee hee, you've been too famous recently. The little guys in the sect are not convinced. Enailu smiled. Don't worry about them. Grandmaster, even you said that her spirit-seeking technique is better than ours. Since that's the case, there's nothing wrong with showing off a little. Why don't we try it? Liancheng said. You. Enailu glared at him. This brat was young and impetuous. He couldn't control his temper. You said it was said by someone else. Rumors can't be trusted. Sima Yue didn't come here to show off. She didn't want to suppress other people's geniuses in their territory, nor did she want to lose. Therefore, it was better not to do anything. Besides, there's no such thing as opening a rock with bare hands. It's just that the situation is critical, and I can't afford to slowly try it out. If you don't believe me, you can ask Sect Master and I if this is the case. I've already used that excuse of yours, but Martial Ancestor said that although the situation at the time was critical, and there was also the thought of damaging the spirit energy in the spirit gathering formation, your method of opening the stone was very accurate, and you didn't open it casually. Liancheng said. Are you unwilling because you think that you'll be embarrassed if you win against me here? The corner of Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She really wanted to ridicule him. Child, don't say it even if you see through it. Even if you know what I'm thinking, don't say it out loud. Why did she feel like she was looking at a brat when she saw his serious face? You don't have to be merciful. Just do what you need to do. If I lose, it's because I'm not as skilled as others. I won't blame you, Lianqing said. Let go of him. And Isla said, this child's talent is all right. He's just a little arrogant. If we don't take him down a notch, who knows what he'll do in the future? Sima Yue hesitated for a while, then nodded and said, all right. This Liancheng was indeed a little arrogant to provoke her so rudely, and Ailu also looked a little worried. Then what should we do? Liancheng asked with a smile. The simplest way. Let's each pick one and see who has the highest value, Sima Yue said. We'll do as you say. Liancheng agreed. Since this batch of ores came today, let's choose from them. All right. She and Liancheng walked to a small cubicle and looked at all the ores. Then they went to a small cubicle at the side. There were a lot of ores here. Liancheng took her to look around and said, that's all we have today. Ladies first. Sima Yue wanted to pick one randomly, but decided against it. If she lost, the other party would think that she let them win on purpose. If she won, they would think that it was luck. It would seem disrespectful. Hence, she walked back and forth twice, then chose an ore the size of a basketball. It's your turn. Liancheng had already looked through the ores when he was accompanying her to choose. Now that it was his turn, he compared the ores he chose. The two of them didn't spend much time. When the onlookers saw that they chose their ores so quickly, they wondered which one of them had the highest value. Open the ores. And Isla said, who's going first? Me. Liancheng said. When gambling on ores, they would choose to open their ores first to show respect. Of course, it was also because they were super confident in themselves. Sima Yue looked at Liancheng. There was no disdain in his eyes. It seemed that there were both reasons. Then open yours first. There was no need to fight over such things. They took the ores to the ores opening. The ores were carefully opened. Blackwood spirit stone. Not bad. And Isla smiled and nodded. Open the next one. Someone placed Sima Yue's spirit stone in front of the ore's opening. With just one cut, it shone brightly. Everyone present widened their eyes. Liancheng was even more stunned. Do you want to continue? The master raised his head and asked. When the ores were opened, there was a strange phenomenon. Needless to say, it was obvious who had won. Open it. Liancheng ordered. Even though he knew the result, he still lost arrogantly. He couldn't just stop like this. He had to see the final result. Soon, Sima Yue's ores were opened. It was 2 grades higher than his. I lost. He admitted straightforwardly. Choosing ores is a matter of probability. It can't be accurate even if you try once or twice. Sima Yue said, Sect leader and I've been out for a long time. I'll take my leave first. Okay, I'll get someone to send you back. And Isla said, come back when you're free. Okay. Sima Yue turned and left. Sima Yue, can I see how you open the ores with your bare hands? If it breaks, it's on me. Liancheng took out an ore. It was his own. Sima Yue turned around and smiled at him, saying, if you don't make me angry next time. Liancheng's face fell. He seemed to have offended her. Sima Yue came out of the Sunling sect. She declined an Aile's kind offer and slowly walked towards the Sound sect. Chapter 2028. The scenery here was picturesque, the birds were chirping, and the flowers were fragrant. She felt that the scenery here was really not bad, if there were no eyesores blocking the way. Sima Yue, you are finally willing to come out of your turtle shell. I thought you were going to hide in the Sound sect for the rest of your life. Qing Kai sat on a huge underworld beast and looked at Sima Yue with disdain. In his opinion, Sima Yue did not come out for a long time, because she was afraid of him. As for the rumors in the sect, he did not believe them. How could a person be so powerful? It must be a misunderstanding. You still dare to ride the underworld beast that you tamed? Aren't you afraid that history will repeat itself? Sima Yue could tell that his mount was only tamed and not contracted. Qing Kai was stepped on. He was almost killed by the underworld beast that he tamed. This was the most humiliating thing for a beast tamer. In these 3 months, those people did not dare to say anything in front of him, but he knew how they laughed at him behind his back. And all of this was caused by Sima Yue. If it was an ordinary person, he would immediately tear that person into pieces. But since it was her, he could let it go. Sima Yue, if you are willing to follow this young master can let bygones be bygones. In the end, it was his lust that prevailed. He did not even care about the humiliation. Sima Yue heard his words and was amused. As the saying goes, those who are lustful die early. If the beauty is not dead, how can I die? Qin Kai saw her smile and his heart flew away. The arrogance just now turned into a wretched pervert. Sima Yue was disgusted by his appearance and frowned in disgust. Every frown and smile is flirtatious. Even a frown is so seductive. Qin Kai's eyes were glued to her body and saliva was faintly flowing out from the corner of his mouth. Sima Yue opened her hand, and a jade flute appeared in her palm. She played with the jade flute and said, "I'll give you 10 seconds to disappear from my sight. Otherwise, don't blame me for not giving face to the beast tamer school." Yo, you're really charming when you're angry. Qin Kai felt that he couldn't wait any longer. This time, he had only seen her and had not interacted with her. Before he could speak to her, he was sent flying by Wu Lingyu. Today, when he talked to her, saw her smile, and saw her get angry, his heart was itching. He waved at the people behind him and said, "You guys go and capture her." Sima Yue's name had spread throughout the Yin sect for the past 2 months. Those who came with Qin Kai at this time were all his loyal followers. They obeyed his orders. Hence, when he gave the order, these people immediately attacked Sima Yue. Before coming here, Qin Kai had said that as long as he didn't die, it was fine. Even if he was injured, he could use pills to save him. Therefore, they didn't have any scruples and only wanted to capture her. However, just as they were about to touch her, she suddenly disappeared from where she stood. "It seems that you've chosen a path of no return." Her voice came from all around, making them unable to locate her. Then, the melodious sound of the flute surrounded them. When they couldn't see her, they subconsciously listened to the sound of the flute. As they listened, they felt very sad and very sad. Their tears fell uncontrollably. What's the point of living like this? Qin Kai's manservant's face was full of tears. He condensed spiritual energy and chopped his own head. Just like that, he fell down. "I've done too many evil things in this life. I can't repay those people. I can only atone for my sins in my next life." Another manservant took out a knife and stabbed it into his own heart. Then the others began to commit suicide one after another. Before Qin Kai's men could even touch her, most of them had died. Qin Kai's eyes became blurred. When he was about to kill himself, a hidden weapon knocked away the sword in his hand. "If I were you, I wouldn't do this." The cold voice was somewhat familiar. Sima Yue came out of the space and looked at Kanan Xian, who was halfway up the mountain. "I didn't know that your heart was so good. I just don't know if the Beast Tamer sect will accept your kindness." Sima Yue smiled faintly, but there was no smile in her eyes. "We're helping you. Don't be so ungrateful." Konoha-chi said, "Do you know who this pervert is? The son of the Beast Tamer sect's vice sect leader. I heard that he's an only child for several generations." Sima Yue said, "But for someone who's always thinking about me, it's the same even if he's a single child for several generations. He's not just a member of the Beast Tamer sect. His grandfather is an elder of the main sect. If you kill him, there will be a lot of trouble in the future." Konoha-chi said, "Didn't you say that the sect doesn't care about the sect members? It seems that this is only for those who have no background." Sima Yue sneered. "How can there be absolute fairness in this world?" Konoha-chi said, "If you kill him, the Beast Tamer sect won't do anything to you on the surface. But secretly, they'll make things difficult for you and won't give you a tamed beast. What can you do?" "I don't need it," Sima Yue said indifferently. "This kind of Beast Tamer sect wouldn't be able to tame anything. Even if you learn the sound attack, you still need a contract beast. You can't always be alone." Konoha-chi said, "I said that I don't need them to tame me. It's not that I don't want a contract beast. If you don't want a tamed beast from the beast tamer sect, then what about your underworld beast? Tame, of course. I can tame it myself. Why would I need to ask them for help? Sima Yue turned and left. Since you saved him, then send him back. Qing Kai stopped playing the flute and stood in place. When Yue passed by him, she took out a pill and stuffed it into his mouth. Then she left. She. Konoha Chi pointed at her back and said a few words, but couldn't finish his sentence. She's a beast tamer. I heard it. Kanan Xian said. How could she? In addition to being an array master, she was also a seeker spirit master. Now they knew that she was a beast tamer. Looking at her confident look, they were afraid that this beast tamer's rank wasn't low. They felt that it was inconceivable, but they believed what she said. It's impossible for such a person to not have a reputation in the ghost realm. It seems that we haven't been out for too long, so we don't know what's going on outside. Kanan Xian murmured. The two of them flew to the foot of the mountain. Qing Kai was still unconscious, surrounded by corpses. How long has this Yue been here? Her sound attack is already so powerful. Konoha Chi exclaimed. They saw with their own eyes how these people killed themselves. This scene, just looking at it, made them panic. She had only been in the sound sect for 3 months, but her sound attack had already reached such a level. No, she used poison. The two factors worked together. Konoha Chi said, Go wake him up. Okay. Konoha Chi walked over and slapped Qing Saisai's face to wake him up. Chapter 2029. When Qing Kai was sent back, although he was already awake, his whole body was in a daze. He kept muttering, So scary, so scary. Kai, what happened to you? Qing Kai's father, Qing Shi, saw his baby son in a daze and cried out in pain. What the hell is going on? How did he become like this? The person who helped him in was from the Beast Tamer Gate. He said. We also don't know what happened. It was Formation Gate's Konoha Chi and Kanan Yi who sent him back. Where are the people around the young master? Tell them to roll over here. Qing Shi looked at Qing Kai again. That silly look, could it be that he really became a fool? Konoha Chi said that they are all dead. What? How did they die? Who did this? They didn't say, they just sent the young master back and left. But we have already sent people to investigate, there should be news soon. After a while, the people who went to investigate the news came back. The battle between Sima Yue and Qing Kai was not a secret. Many people saw it, so it was not difficult to find the news. Sima Yue. It's this Sima Yue again. Qing Shi gritted his teeth, he couldn't wait to kill her. When Qing Kai heard Sima Yue's name, his body suddenly trembled. He shouted, So scary. So scary. Quickly go and ask the people from the Alchemy Gate and Doctor Gate to come over, and see if there is anything wrong with Kai. Qing Shi roared. I have already sent people to invite them, they should be here soon. Vice Sect Leader, who is this Sima Yue? How long has she been in the Sound Gate? How can she use such a high-level sound attack? Could it be that she already knew it before entering the Sound Gate? Qing Shi's guard said. It shouldn't be. Qing Shi thought for a while and denied his idea. This time when she entered the Sound Gate, I saw her sound attack. It's not that powerful to make everyone commit suicide. But many people saw it. Her flute sound made those people commit suicide. She must have used other methods. Qing Shi said with certainty. Are those bodies still there? If they are, let people check it carefully. Yes. Some people went out and some came in. Vice Sect Master, the doctor is here. Let them in. 2 people wearing doctor's robes walked in from outside. When they saw Qing Shi, they cupped their hands in greeting. Before they could say anything, Qing Shi led them to Qing Kai and anxiously said, Take a look at him. What's wrong with him? Mu Ji was the favorite disciple of the 9th elder of the physician sect, and her medical skills were well known in the Yin sect. Because he had a good relationship with Qing Shi, he would usually come over whenever there was a problem. Qian Qingkai was injured by the nether beast, and he was the one who came to heal him. Mu Ji was surprised to see Qingsai's reaction. Qingkai was considered a devil incarnate in the secret sect. He was the only one who could torture others to such an extent. No one had ever seen him frightened to such an extent. Hurry up and take a look at him, Qingshi urged. Muji examined Qingkai and said he's scared. The other party must have done something to deepen the fear in his heart. Other than that, there are no other injuries. Qingshi heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that he wasn't injured. As long as his body is fine, it's fine. Vice leader, we can't be happy too early. Although his body isn't injured, his current state is even more troublesome, Muji said. Is it very serious? If it's not handled well, it may cause an inner demon. Muji's expression was solemn, indicating that the current situation was very troublesome. If he didn't see his own people commit suicide, how could it have gotten to this point? I've seen more scenes in the past. Qingshi felt that she might be exaggerating. How could it be so serious? I just said that the other party used some kind of method to intensify the fear in his heart and make his heart collapse. Otherwise, with Qingxi's character, he wouldn't be scared to this extent. Muji explained, we have to get rid of the inner demon for him now. This Sima Yue. Sima Yue? Is she the one who did this? That's right. Tell me in detail what happened and see if I can find out the reason. Qingshi told her everything that happened today, including the order of those people's deaths. So, her sound attack is already so powerful? Didn't she just enter the Yin sect not long ago? And in the 3 months, Luyan has been in seclusion for more than 2 months. Who taught her? That's true, so I guess she used some other method. Did you find anything strange in Qingxi's body? Qingshi asked. Strange? Are you talking about poison? I'm just guessing. Muji also felt that this guess was possible. After all, Sima Yue had only entered the Yin sect for a short time. It was not easy to make those people lose their minds and commit suicide. I didn't find anything, he replied. But I'm not good at poison. Many poisons are not easy to find. Why don't you ask the people from the poison sect to take a look? Qingshi then asked someone to invite the people from the poison sect. The beast-taming sect's status in the Yin sect was generally higher, because most of the people in the Yin sect were professional masters. Their strength was much weaker than spiritual masters. However, they had strong mental power, so they could contract many beasts to improve their strength. Therefore, everyone would generally give the beast-taming sect some face. The person who came alone was called Yuling. She was a femme fatale in the poison sect, and had a good relationship with Qingshi. Qingshi sent someone to invite her, so she came over. I heard that your son was frightened. Why didn't you find someone to comfort him? Why did you come to me? I don't know how to treat a child's illness, the fiery figure said as soon as she came in. If that's the case, I wouldn't have come to you, Qingshi said. I want you to check if there's poison in Kai's body. Poison? I suspect. Muji just checked, but she didn't find anything. Muji has some poison skills. She didn't find anything? No. Then why do you suspect that he's been poisoned? Qingshi told her her guess, and Yuling became interested in Sima Yue. She's just a child who has just entered the Yin sect. Why do you care so much about her? Well, since you said so, I'll take a look for you. She came to Qingkai's side and saw that he was in a daze. He was indeed abnormal. She checked Qingkai's body and raised her eyebrows. Everyone knew that this was a sign that she was interested. How is it? You're right. He's been poisoned, and there are 2 of them. One of them has lost his mind, and the other one. Chapter 2030. What's the other type? Qingshi asked when he saw that she did not say anything. The other type, if I'm not wrong, will make your child unable to raise his little brother. Unable to raise his little brother? Doesn't that mean he will not be able to do it in the future? Qingshi's eyes narrowed. Can you cure it? This poison is very strange. I don't know if I can make an antidote for it. Yuling said uncertainly. I don't know who made this poison, but it's actually so special. Interesting. Yuling, you have to cure Kai's poison. You know, my family has only one son for more than 10 generations. If he can't do it, then our family won't be without descendants. Qingshi solemnly begged her. I've told you before that your child will suffer sooner or later if he's like this, but you've never taken my words to heart. Oh, Yuling said with some sarcasm. What did you say at that time? Oh, my son, he has the right to be arrogant. Since he likes it, then let him play. Anyway, if anything happens, I'll take responsibility. He's poisoned now, he's not really dead yet. If not for Jianan's heart, you would only be able to collect his corpse today. Qingshi was speechless because he did think that way before. Who knew that someone would not give him face? It's all because of that Sima Yue. If not for her, Kai, or wouldn't have become like this. TSK. Your own son is useless, but he went to provoke others. Now you're blaming it on a little girl. Don't you feel embarrassed? Qingshi, I say you're getting worse and worse. Oh, Yuling was merciless when she scolded people. Even if it was the beast tamer sect's vice sect leader, she would still scold him. Qingshi also knew that, but when he saw his son like this, his heart was filled with anger. However, he could not reason with Oh Yuling because her temper was very strange. If he were to argue with her, she might just leave in the next second. You're right. I'll restrain him well in the future, he replied. Can you cure the poison in his body? You've already asked me once, and I said I'm not sure. I've never seen this poison before, and the composition seems to be very strange. Whether or not we can research an antidote will depend on the research later. Oh Yuling said. However, you don't have to worry too much. You won't die for the time being. I'm done with the examination. I'll go back and develop the antidote first. I'll get you to deliver the first antidote. As long as the poison is cured, you can get someone to prescribe some medicine for him to calm down. The inner demon shouldn't be left behind. Then the second one. As for the second option, you can only pray that an antidote can be developed. If I can't develop it, I will report it to the sect. If no one in the sect can develop it, then you can only look for Sima Yue to give you the antidote. As for whether they hold a grudge and give you the antidote, that will depend on your ability. Oh Yuling left, leaving behind a gloomy Qingshi. Vice sect leader, that Sima Yue, do we keep her alive for now? If poison sect could not solve this problem and Sima Yue died, his Kai, would never be able to be saved. That slut, wait till his Kai, recovers, see how he will deal with her. Half a day after Oh Yuling returned to poison sect, she got someone to deliver a pill. Qing Kai ate the pill and felt much better. He was not as lifeless as before. However, there was only deep fear in his eyes. That Sima Yue is too scary, too scary. I don't want to look for her anymore. When he thought of that scene, his body could not help but tremble. Kair, did you see something? Father, corpses, so many corpses. I was locked in there and could not see anything else, only endless corpses. Those beauties had all turned into white bones, some even had maggots growing on them. There were also many underworld beasts eating those corpses. They surrounded me as if I was also a corpse. They wanted to eat me. Father, those underworld beasts are so scary. Qing Kai cried out. Make them go away. Go away. Kair, this is beast taming sect. You have already come out and are safe. No underworld beasts can hurt you. Look, this is your house. Qingshi comforted him. Qing Kai opened his eyes and looked carefully. After confirming that it was his house, he quieted down. Let Muji take a look at your body, okay? Qing Kai did not refuse. Muji went to check on him and said, I'll prescribe some medicine for him. As long as he calms down, he'll be fine. Okay, go quickly. Muji left and not long after, someone brought the pill. Qing Kai fell asleep after taking it, but he still had nightmares from time to time. The beast taming sect was in a mess, but Sima Yue was very leisurely. Taking advantage of the fact that no one came to provoke her, she took a good look around the Yin sect. She did not know whether it was good for the Yin sect or not, but since she was in a new place, she had to figure out the environment here so that she could deal with any situation in the future. She walked around the surroundings. When she came back, the corpses on the ground were gone. Even the blood on the ground had been cleaned up, leaving only the residual smell of blood in the air. An old man in shabby clothes was sweeping the ground with a broom. She wanted to go around him, but she was stopped by the old man. Little girl, you have a murderous aura, he said. Yes, I just killed someone, Sima Yue admitted. Did you kill these people? Yes. They wanted to catch me, so I killed them. Little girl, don't be so murderous. They just wanted to catch you. Why did you kill them? Some people can be forgiven if they offend you because they won't cause you any trouble in the future. But some people can't be forgiven. If you let them go, it's like letting a tiger go back to the mountain. It's better to get rid of them once and for all. But that's a dozen lives. A dozen people came to bully a little girl like me. This kind of person deserves to die, Sima Yue said. If it wasn't me today but a weak person, the ending would have been different. What are you going to say then? You'll say that she's not as good as others and deserves to be caught and bullied. So there's nothing wrong with me killing these people. Ning Tianya looked at Sima Yue. The murderous aura around her was actually very faint. She did not look like someone who had just killed a dozen people. This world follows the law of the jungle. What you said makes sense. But if your murderous aura is too strong, it will affect your state of mind. It won't be good if you have an inner demon in the future. Just like the sect master of the Yin sect, you won't be able to advance for a long time. I only do what I think is right and follow my heart. How can there be an inner demon? Even if there really was one, he would have to let me live until then. If I don't resist, I'll be dead before the inner demon comes. Chapter 2031. Regardless of whether the future was good or bad, there was a very important condition, and that was to live. Ning Tianya understood that her heart was firm. No matter what happened, she would live on to pursue her great Tao. What if you have an inner demon in the future? He asked her. Then think of a way to get rid of the inner demon. Look at my master, although he was trapped for so many years, didn't he get rid of the inner demon and successfully advance? Sima Yue was not worried. In this world, everything has a cause and effect. If it really reaches the point where it can't be solved, then it's the cause that I planted, and I have to bear the consequences. Even so, it's better than dying early, right? The rare sunlight shone down on her, making her look a little ethereal. Her words were a little messy and contradictory, but Ning Tianya understood what she meant. Among the 3,000 great Daos, you've chosen a path that's pleasing to your heart. This is very good, but once you doubt your own heart, then you may fall into eternal darkness, unable to be resolved, he said earnestly. Sima Yue looked at Ning Tianya, smiled, and said, Old Grandpa, have you ever heard of this saying? If you choose a path, you have to finish it even if you have to kneel down? Since I've chosen this path, then I naturally won't turn back. If you choose a path, you have to finish it even if you have to kneel down? Ning Tianya raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he heard of this. Old Grandpa, I don't know why you're telling me this, but thank you for reminding me to persevere. Sima Yue said. Also, I don't know who you are in the sect, but next time you want to talk to me, don't make yourself like this. Had he been exposed? How did you know? You didn't choose the right place and your broom is too new. There's so much blood here. If you were the one cleaning, your broom wouldn't be so spotless. Sima Yue explained. Remember to change to an old broom in the future. Goodbye. After she finished speaking, she walked around him and left. Ning Tianya was left frowning as he sized up the broom in his hand. Sure enough, it was too new. It didn't look like a cleaner at all. However, this little girl was quite smart. There weren't many young people who could recognize their own path. Sima Yue returned to her courtyard. The news of her killing had already spread here. Along the way, the disciples looked at her strangely. Why are these people looking at me like that? Don't tell me that they feel embarrassed because I used poison? Or did I violate the sect's rules? It can't be right? She muttered to herself. Fushi saw her, and called out to her twice before she responded. They felt that you had just joined the sect not long ago, and your master was still in seclusion. Yet you already know how to use sound attacks, so they were a little shocked. Fushi explained. How did you know? I heard them. Fushi said. Why did you come back so late? It had been so long since the news had been sent back, but she had only just returned. That was too slow. Since I'm free today, I decided to walk around. Sima Yue said. Is there any news from the beast-taming sect? Yes, I heard that they found people from the physician sect and poison sect. It was a mess before, but now it's quietened down. Maybe that fellow Qingkai has calmed down. Fushi said. Yue, they won't find trouble with you, right? I heard that fellow has some background in the Yin sect. You mean that vice sect leader? Sima Yue wasn't worried. If he wants his son to be impotent for the rest of his life, he can try. Fushi subconsciously clamped his legs together. How could she do such a thing and say it so casually? Sima Yue saw his reaction and said in disdain. You're just a little kid. Why are you having such a big reaction? How am I young? I'm also a man, all right. Fushi protested. I'm already 250 years old. Then you're still a kid. Sima Yue said. Wait until your body grows up. Then you can fight for your rights. Fushi still wanted to argue with her, but she had already entered the house and ignored him. Soon, Lu Yan's men came to call her over. She went over and met him at the top floor of his little attic. Lu Yan stood in front of the railing, still dressed in white, his long hair casually draped behind him. When the wind blew, it danced playfully. This was the second time they met alone. Master. She bowed to his back. Lu Yan turned around and said, Are you hurt anywhere? No. Sima Yue shook her head. Do you know why I called you over? Lu Yan asked her. Sima Yue secretly observed his expression. She was neither happy nor angry as she said, I don't know. I know you're smart. You know how to combine sound attacks with other methods. Lu Yan said. Seeing that Sima Yue didn't look pleased, the anger in his heart eased a little. Don't do such dangerous things in the future. When Sima Yue first heard his words, she didn't think that it was a compliment. She thought that he was angry at her for using such methods to kill, so she was prepared to be scolded. But his last words didn't seem to be referring to this. You purposely didn't let them send you, so that they would come looking for you, right? There are many experts in the Yin sect. With your little tricks, you can only deal with these people. But what if you meet an expert? I know I'm wrong. I won't go out alone in the future. Sima Yue admitted her mistake. You should cultivate more in the sect in the future. I will settle the matters of the beast-taming sect for you, Lu Yan said. Thank you, master. Sima Yue smiled at him. The beast-taming sect will be fine for the time being. What did you do? Before I left, I poisoned Qingkai. Qingshi loves his son so much. He won't do anything to me if he doesn't suppress the poison. Unless he doesn't want this son, and has another child of his own. Lu Yan knew what poison she had used. Are you so sure that they won't be able to develop an antidote? Of course. I developed the poison myself. Some of the ingredients are only known to me. It will be difficult for them to come up with an antidote. Sima Yue said confidently. After the battle, you said that you are a beast tamer master. Now you are a poison master. Tell me, what else do you know? Let me know what kind of disciple I have. Lu Yan said. I am best at medicine and alchemy. Next, I am good at arrays, beast tamer and seeker spirit master. I am the worst at smithing because I spend the least amount of time. Sima Yue replied. Oh, I can even use sound attacks now. That's my weakest point. Medicine, alchemy, arrays, beast tamer, seeker spirit master, smithing. You know all these professions. What else do you not know? There are many things that I don't know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to the Yin sect to learn. And I haven't reached the peak of what I know, so there is still a lot to learn. Chapter 2032. This round of array formations was especially difficult. Furthermore, the contents of the test were also what she did not expect. When she heard the contents of the test, she could only say that this master of hers thought too highly of her. Who came to the front of the rostrum and said, My round's test is also very simple. The place where you are at already has an array formation prepared. It's a trapping array. You have to come out from inside. But if you activate the array formation hidden inside the array formation when you crack the array formation, it will become a killing array. She understood this kind of array formation combination. As long as she found the pattern, it was not considered too difficult. But the moment the array formation activated, She became depressed. It's actually a replica array of the 10 great ancient array formations. Master, do you really think that I'm that impressive? She could not help but complain. The people outside could not hear her voice, but they could read her lips. Coupled with her expression, they all knew how depressed she was. Old Hu, you actually used an imitation array of an ancient array. Isn't this a little too much? He Lan frowned, feeling unjust for Sima Yue. If she can't pass this array, what will she do if she encounters an ancient array in the future? Hu said, moreover, you all know about her situation. If she goes to that place in the future, how can she protect herself if she doesn't have some skills? If she can't pass, she will stay behind and continue learning. He said this, and the others also felt that what he said was reasonable. But she is also in a hurry to leave, Sai. Although she did not appear to be in a hurry and stayed behind to calm herself down, she was still anxious to save her mother. This was no longer a secret among the higher-ups of the hidden sections. Otherwise, they would not have agreed to let her finish the apprenticeship examinations in such a short period of time. Back then, they had held a private meeting with Sima Yue and told them about her situation, including her background, her experiences, her growth, the things that she had done in the human realm and the world of spirits and souls and so on. In the end, they concluded that she should be the person who bore the mandate of heaven that they had been waiting for. As the higher-ups of this world, they had the obligation to help her grow. That was why they had allowed her to study in various sects all these years. They also knew that she probably had a treasure that could slow down time, which was why she had been able to learn so many things in such a short period of time. Over 20 years in the Soul Tower was equivalent to over 200 years. Coupled with her talent and the foundation she already had, it was not difficult for her to succeed. Moreover, they had also predicted that chaos was coming, and that she had to leave. There were still many things in this world waiting for her to do. Their hearts were filled with pride at the thought that they could personally guide her growth. But now, she might not be able to pass the array formation examination. Sima Yue walked in the array formation. She felt that she had been walking in one direction, but to the people outside, she seemed to be walking around in a very small area. She felt that the imitation array of the ancient array formation was more troublesome, because it had some changes on the basis of the ancient array formation. It had the power of the ancient array formation, but there were more variations, and some were even stronger. Moreover, this array formation had been changed by Hu into a combination array. Once a killing array was triggered, it would be terrible. She would be trapped and killed. And she could feel that the power of the killing array would not be weaker than this trapping array. Thinking of this, she wanted to vomit blood. It was just an examination, but her master was trying to torture her to death. Whoosh! The sound of the wind rushed over. She dodged, and a spiritual force brushed past her ear, scraping the skin on her ear. Just a little more, and she would not be able to keep her ear. She actually triggered the killing array. Sima Yue wanted to vomit blood. She had just figured out the method to break the trapping array, and now it had triggered the killing array. Now she not only had to deal with these attacks, but she also had to break the array. Most importantly, the attacks were so fierce, she almost did not have the time and experience to break the array. Seeing the attack of the killing array, the crowd was in an uproar. This attack was too fierce. With Sima Yue's strength, there was no way she could withstand it. Old Hu, don't you think you've gone overboard? The people on the rostrum were also worried. The attack seemed to be a little too fierce. Only Hu smiled, and his previous worries were swept away. You are as injured, how can you still smile at this time? He Lan said with a sullen face. You guys continue watching. Hu did not explain, but the smile on his face was much wider. Is there something fishy? They turned their attention to Sima Yue again, only to see her being injured by those attacks, and running around in the array. The people on the rostrum were distressed. When had their goddess ever been in such a sorry state? She was so seriously injured, and even forced to run around. Her image was gone. Puffed. Unable to dodge, an illusory longsword stabbed into her shoulder, only 2 fingers away from her heart. If it went down a little more. Old Hu. And Ailu was anxious. If this goes on, she will die. You'd better close the array quickly. In this way, she could be considered to have failed the assessment. Don't be anxious. Huhu's smile did not change. Just wait a little more. Can what? They did not see any signs of her breaking the array. Just wait and see, the situation is about to change, Huhu said. He would not joke around with Sima Yuyue's life. Since he said so, everyone could only wait. They waited anxiously, and their hearts were in their throats. Fortunately, they did not wait for too long, or else their lives would be short. Sima Yue was injured again, on the other shoulder, in the same position. She was stabbed again. Now there was a long sword on each shoulder, a few broken arrows on her legs, and wounds all over her body. However, when her shoulder was stabbed, she smiled. That smile was so confident, so bright, that it made people feel that no matter what difficulties there were, they could not stop her footsteps. She would keep moving forward, to a height that had never been reached before. Array rise! As she shouted, an array lit up around her. This array was not big, but it was just enough to protect her, and it weakened the attack of the trapping array. She actually set up an array in the process of escaping. Everyone exclaimed. Previously, no one saw that her messy footsteps had actually drawn out an array pattern. Old Hu, you saw it long ago. Anila said. Huhu smiled without saying a word. Is this array formation able to resist your trapping array? The attack seems to be a lot smaller. Lu Yen asked. I think so too, it seems to be a lot smaller. Helan said. It can't be considered a trapping array to resist. Not only did she set up an array, but she also used the trapping array's array pattern to let some of the trapping array's power be used by her. This way, she can protect herself and weaken the attack. Once she recovers, this array formation won't pose any difficulty to her. Huhu explained to everyone. Chapter 2033. Sima Yue rubbed her nose embarrassedly and said softly, It's not something that grows on a human body. It's that. She paused at this point as if she was really embarrassed. Lu Yen looked at her. If she didn't already know what she was thinking, she would really think that she was embarrassed. Qing sure hated Sima Yue. If it wasn't for her, how would his precious son become like this? Now that she was taking her time, he wanted to give her 2 tight slaps. What is the primer? Just tell us directly. Why are you taking your time? He said impatiently. It's actually human urine. Only by using this as a primer will the antidote take effect. Sima Yue said. So as long as you let him drink 2 bowls of this immediately after taking the antidote, I guarantee that he will be able to hold up the sky. Everyone present was stunned. The primer she was talking about was actually human urine? And she wanted to drink it directly? That was too ridiculous. How dare you? Qing shouted. How can human urine be the antidote? We've already humbled ourselves to beg you. If you don't know what's good for you, I'm speaking the truth. Sima Yue trembled as if she was frightened. If you don't believe me, you can ask Senior if this is the primer. I'm your peer, so you don't have to call me Senior. Oh, Yuling said. It's not that this urine can't be used as a primer, it's just that it's too harmful. I'll say it first. I'm not targeting Qingkai. Sima Yue raised her right hand and assured. I kept that poison for self-defense. I didn't expect to use it on Qingkai. If he didn't provoke me, I wouldn't have given it to him. Her words seemed to make sense. After all, if Qingkai didn't provoke her, why would he get into such trouble? But when they thought about her primer, they felt a little disgusted. Fifth Elder, she already said that this poison wasn't created to target your grandson. This antidote naturally has nothing to do with him. You can't put that cold air on a little girl's body, right? Helan, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke up. Sima Yue looked at the fairy-like beauty and smiled gratefully at her. So she wasn't on the same side as them. Take a look and see if this antidote prescription is correct. If it's right, I'll give it to him when I get back. Yuling took out a prescription and showed it to her. Sima Yue looked at the prescription she gave and nodded. That's it. Go back and use the medicine according to this prescription, and add the medicinal primer. When they thought of that medicinal primer, they felt a little stifled. If it doesn't work, I'll come find you again, Yuling said. All right. If it doesn't work, you can come back and find me. Sima Yue smiled at her. Ching Cheng brought her people and left. She didn't even bother to exchange pleasantries. Ilan was left alone. I heard from your master that you know how to refine pills? Ilan asked. Mo Wei was startled. She actually knew how to concoct pills? A little. Sima Yue replied. That's not what your master said. Ilan said. Ah. She looked at Lu Yan. This guy sold her out? I don't have a choice. She came and said that your poison indirectly killed her disciple's disciple. I can only accompany her, a genius. Lu Yan was also very helpless. But what could he do? He couldn't really hand Yue over and teach her a lesson, right? Little girl, do you want to come to my place? It's so boring to play the zither with him. Ilan asked her. Go to the alchemy sect? Sima Yue didn't expect that she was the ancestor of the girl who died in the alchemy sect. She also didn't expect that she was here to poach her. But I've just entered the sect and haven't learned much. It's not suitable for me to be distracted, right? So you're saying that you're not willing? Helan's smile disappeared. She didn't show any anger. Mo Wei was a little happy. As long as she offended these elders, even if she didn't do anything, Sima Yue wouldn't have a good ending. It's not that I'm not willing. It's just that I still need to learn from my master. Sima Yue gave Lu Yan a look. Quickly speak up for her. Lu Yan had sold out her own disciple, and was feeling embarrassed. Seeing her winking at her, she had no choice but to say, I still have something to say. The Formation sect and the Spirit-Seeking sect are waiting for her to go there after she has finished learning from me. Even if you want to poach her, you have to queue up. They want her too? Why? Ilan frowned. Of course it's because she's good in those areas too, Lu Yan said. So don't scare her. She's timid and can't take it. TSK, then why did you recommend her to me? Ilan was really angry. Isn't that because you love talent? If I didn't say it, I would have wasted a lot of time stopping you. Lu Yan said bluntly. It seemed that he had a good relationship with Ilan. Sima Yue came to this conclusion, and subconsciously looked at Mo Wei. Sure enough, her expression was very ugly. Sect leader, there are still some things waiting for me to settle in the sect. I'll take my leave first. Mo Wei stood up, and left without waiting for Lu Yan to say anything. Ilan didn't have a good impression of Mo Wei. After Mo Wei left, she said coldly, I don't understand. Why are you so accommodating to this woman? If you like her, I can still accept it. But you clearly. I promised her father. Lu Yan said. TSK, I couldn't tell that you were such a sentimental person. Ilan then said to Sima Yue. Your master said that you're good at alchemy. If your alchemy skills are really that good, I won't hold it against you. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. What did those things have to do with her? She didn't want to move and wanted to leave, but Lu Yan stopped her. If you can catch her eye, you can look for her for alchemy in the future. Ilan didn't refute and only said, that depends on whether she has that standard. Sima Yue guessed in her heart. For Ilan to be able to become an elder in the main sect, there was no need to talk about her abilities. If she wanted to study alchemy in the future, it would be better if she followed her. So it turned out that Lu Yan wanted to find her a master. Do it here? She asked. Alchemists can refine pills in any kind of environment. Ilan said. Sima Yue nodded and took out a table full of herbs. Then, with her palms facing up, flames emerged from her palms and condensed into a ball of fire in the air. She threw a few herbs into the fire and directly used the flames to refine them. When Ilan saw the herbs she took out, she knew what kind of pill she was going to refine. At first, she was a little disappointed because this pill wasn't very difficult and wasn't considered to be a top-grade pill. When she saw Sima Yue directly using the fire as the cauldron, her gaze finally changed. When she handed the finished pill to her, a smile appeared on her face. Chapter 2034. Helan's smile was very faint, and her sullen face did not change at all. But Lu Yan knew that she was satisfied. Using fire to form a cauldron, and being able to refine pills of this grade so quickly. How is it, am I right? It was the first time he was so proud of a disciple. It's all right, Helan said. But her technique is still not very mature. If she doesn't continue to work hard, she won't be able to reach the level of a great master. That's why I need you to give me some pointers, Lu Yan said. Humph. A simple humph, but it showed that she agreed. Helan thought for a moment, then said, I'll get them to take her in later. That won't do. The one who spoke up was still Lu Yan. What? Helan glared at him, very unhappy with his nagging. She's my disciple. If you let a junior take her in, then wouldn't I be a generation younger than you? Lu Yan refused. Either you take her in or you don't. Lu Yan, you bastard. Helan was so angry that she almost threw the teacup in her hand at him. Her celestial aura instantly became down to earth. Even Sima Yoyue's mouth twitched. She didn't realize that Master was so annoying in the past? Or was it that Master was more annoying in front of her? All of a sudden, did she catch something? She blinked, and decided not to say anything. Lu Yan's expression did not change in the face of her anger. She had to insist on this. So, do you take her in? Lu Yan's attitude was very arrogant. You're forcing a disciple to me, Helan protested. She's very talented. Those people under you can't teach her. Lu Yan said, let them come. Otherwise she'll surpass them. When that time comes, you'll still have to come personally. Why do you have to walk this path now? You're too confident in her. Helan did not believe it. Oh, if you don't believe me, you can ask her. How old is she, what level is she, and what she knows? Lu Yan said, I never exaggerate. When I say that they can't teach her, they can't teach her. Rather than being misled by them, why don't she learn sound attacks from me? Didn't you not let her join the alchemy faction? What happened to concentrating on learning sound attacks? Aren't you an elder of the main sect? It's okay to go and learn from time to time. If you have time, you can come here and teach her. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at her dress. She treated herself like an invisible person. She raised her head slightly and glanced at Jing Fu. The latter was also regretting not following them. The two of them looked at each other, their eyes filled with helplessness. In the end, Helan accepted Sima Yue as her disciple, but she needed to choose a date to formally become Sima Yue's disciple, so she needed to go back and prepare. After Helan left, Jing Fu left as well. Sima Yue and Lu Yan were left alone. Master, are you on good terms with Sixth Elder? Sima Yue asked. We've known each other for a long time. Oh, her voice was very long. So how could Lu Yan not understand her meaning? She said uncomfortably, her alchemy skills are very good, you. I know. I'll learn from her. In the future, if you need me to put in a good word for you, feel free to let me know. You just need to teach me your song of yearning. Sima Yue, I think you've become more daring, haven't you? Lu Yan's face stiffened, trying to hide the guilt in her eyes. Master, I'm timid. I can't be scared. Sima Yue repeated what he said before. Seeing that Lu Yan was about to fly into a rage, she said, Master, if you don't have any other orders, I'll take my leave first. Lu Yan still wanted to say something, but when he saw her curious and expectant gaze, he couldn't bring himself to say those words. No matter what he said, she would interpret it as something else, right? So it was better not to say anything. You can leave. If anything happens at the beast taming sect, I'll get someone to inform you. Yes, Master. I'll take my leave. After Sima Yue left, she released a few scarlet bees. The scarlet bees circled around her twice, then flew towards the beast taming sect. She could imagine Qingsai's face when he drank the medicine. That scene was too beautiful. She didn't dare to imagine it. The beast taming sect has formed a grudge. Oh, even if this didn't happen, it would still be the same. At least I'm feeling good now. She happily returned to her own courtyard. In the beast taming sect, Qing Cheng and Qing Shi's faces were so dark that water could drip out. The people beside them didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Oh, Yuling took out 2 pills and said, This is the antidote that I made according to the recipe. She said that the recipe is correct, so let's give it to Qingkai to try. You really want to try? Qing Shi couldn't bear to let her child suffer. Oh, Yuling was unhappy. She placed the antidote on the table and said, If there were other methods, Would we still have to make this trip today? Go and bring him over, then prepare 2 bowls. Qing didn't finish her sentence, but everyone knew. Thus, someone immediately went to prepare the urine, and someone went to call Qingkai. At this moment, Qingkai was still in his own courtyard, facing 4 half-naked women who were flirting with him. He didn't have the slightest bit of his past majesty. He irritably threw everything on the table at them. Those women were shocked and all knelt on the ground. Scram, scram, useless things. He roared at them. These women were all dancers that he used to like. Now, no matter what they did, his little brother didn't have any reaction. He wanted to find Sima Yue to settle the score, but every time he had this thought, his mind would recall that terrifying scene, and he would immediately give up. But he really missed the days of the past. The 4 dancers quickly retreated, afraid that he would change his mind and kill them if they were too slow. Young master, vice sect leader and 5th elder have returned. They brought the antidote back and invited you over. The servant at the door said. Got it. Qingcai's eyes lit up. His fat body immediately stood up from the recliner and hurriedly walked towards the hall. Before he entered, he shouted loudly, Father, grandfather, you really got the antidote? Qing looked at his grandson, and his eyes were filled with love. Thinking about what was about to happen, his hatred for Sima Yue increased. Kai, this is the antidote and this is the catalyst. After eating the pill and drinking this, your poison will be cured. Qing said. Qingkai walked to his seat and sat down. Seeing the 2 pills and 2 bowls of light yellow liquid on the table, he frowned and asked, Didn't I eat this pill before? Why is it still this? Also, is the liquid in this bowl urine? This is your catalyst. Close your eyes and drink it. Qing said. Father, grandfather, you really want me to drink this? No, I won't drink it. I won't drink it even if I die. Chapter 20:35. Qingkai was not willing to drink it. No matter how Qingshi tried to persuade him, he would not drink it. He kept saying that there were other ways to cure the poison, and that Sima Yue did it on purpose. Even if he drank it, it would not have any effect. If it doesn't work, we will go find her. Qing shouted. If you don't drink it now, no one will care about you in the future. Qing shouted. Qingkai calmed down under his grandfather's glare. The only person he was afraid of was his grandfather. Once he got angry, even his heart would tremble. Moreover, he was afraid that they would not care about him. So with great reluctance he had to agree. The pill was still the same pill, but this time, there was a disgusting medicinal ingredient. He swallowed the pill and forced himself to drink a bowl of urine. After drinking it, he almost vomited. Grandfather, I feel that it is the same as the previous 2 times. There is no difference at all. He held back his disgust and shouted. There is one more bowl. Yuling reminded him. Drink the other bowl too. Qing said. Qingkai held back his disgust and drank the other bowl as well. He wanted to vomit after drinking it. You better not vomit. If it affects the effect of the medicine, you will be the one at a disadvantage. You will have to eat it again. Yuling's words made Qingkai swallow the vomit back down his throat. He was already disgusted. If he drank it again, he would collapse. They waited for a while. When Qing lost her patience and was about to go find Sima Yue to settle the score, Qingkai finally reacted. After resting for half a year, his second son was finally able to support the heavens again. Grandfather, father, it seems like it really worked. That feeling is back. Qingkai cried out. At this moment, he felt his entire body heating up. His lower body was extremely swollen and painful. He wanted to immediately find someone to relieve it. Yuling, check if Kaier's poison is really cured. Qingshi said. He still could not believe it. How could the poison be cured after adding 2 bowls of urine? Yuling also felt that it was strange. She checked Qingkai and said with certainty. It is indeed cured. What is the principle behind this? There are only 2 more bowls. How could it be cured? I think it should be the hidden effect of the antidote. Yuling said. I don't care what the reason is. As long as it is effective. Qingkai finally smiled. Grandfather, father, I feel uncomfortable. I want to release it. No. Yuling stopped him. Why? I feel so uncomfortable. Before we left, Sima Yu said that you will wake up for 3 days. In these 3 days you can't do those things. Otherwise, all your efforts will be wasted. Yuling, if you don't believe me, you can give it a try. Yuling said. Do you dare? Would they dare to use his entire life as a test? The most important thing was, according to Sima Yu's temperament, if she said this, there was an 80 to 90% chance of it being true. In short, he couldn't release it. He could only hold it in. Tie the young master up. Qing Cheng ordered. If you can't control yourself, get out of the Qing family. Qing Kai was depressed. He had never held it in so much in his life. Every minute and every second was torture. Sima Yue was simply a demon. She tortured him until he lost all his temper. He still wanted to take revenge in the past. But after going through all this, he couldn't do anything to her. After 3 days, he finally regained his freedom. However, his second son had already left him. He was tortured for 3 days. He was exhausted. He didn't even look at the beauties his father sent over and fell asleep. The beast taming sect was in a mess. They looked for people to take a look. For some reason, the news of Qing Kai drinking urine to detoxify the antidote spread. Everyone who saw Qing Kai would hide far away. It was as if he smelled of urine. He was so angry that he clenched his teeth. For a long time he hid in his room and didn't come out. Sima Yue also knew about the beast taming sect's actions. She smiled evilly. Fuxi said to Haixing and Haishi, "Did you see that? In the future, you don't have to kill anyone who offends you. Find the right way to punish them. That's the best." Although he said that, he couldn't help but complain in his heart. This woman was too evil. Whether it was impotence or the poison, it was enough to show how evil her heart was. Sima Yue thought that the rest of her life would pass peacefully. Who knew that before the matter of her making Qing Kai drink urine was over, the news of Helan accepting her as a disciple spread. The entire Yin sect was in an uproar again. Who was Helan? She was the main elder of the sect. Not only were her disciples talented, they had to be very powerful to be able to enter her eyes. Now that she was accepting Sima Yue, didn't that mean that Sima Yue's alchemy skills were higher than those of the alchemy sect? This Sima Yue is simply an evildoer. Many people cried out, "When will I have the chance to properly witness her abilities? Is she really human? How can there be such a demon? I heard that she's very beautiful. I don't know who can control such a woman." You don't have to worry about that. She already has someone in her heart. Moreover, that person joined the Yin sect for her, and became the disciple of the Array sect's leader. Are you serious? Is this news reliable? Of course it's reliable. This news came from the Array sect and the Sound sect. What a pity. I wanted to give it a try. Go ahead. Poach her, I believe in you. Hey, there's no corner that can't be poached. There's only a shovel that isn't hard enough. Who knows, maybe I'll succeed. Then you'll have to be alive first. Ha ha ha. Now everyone in the Yin sect was talking about Sima Yue. They even started betting on whether she knew their sect's skills. Even the beast taming sect was secretly opened. Although she said that she could tame beasts, it was still open without seeing it with their own eyes. When Sima Yue heard Fuxi's words, the corners of her mouth twitched. These people really have nothing better to do. Who knew that you would do all these things? Fuxi said. I also heard that the people from the alchemy sect are not convinced and want to cause trouble for you before you take me as your disciple. I don't have that much time to play with them. Sima Yue said. The beast taming sect knew that there was no way to mediate, so she didn't mind making things this way. However, the alchemy sect was still considered to be from the same sect. It would be a waste of time to do this. Little Grand Ancestor, Yuling from the poison sect is here to look for you. A junior at the door said. Sima Yue raised her brows. What was this woman here for? Chapter 2036. When Yuling saw Sima Yue, she immediately revealed her intentions. I'm here to ask you for advice on poison. Although Sima Yu's impression of Yu Ling wasn't bad, and she even knew that she had said a few fair words for her, she still didn't really want to bother with this woman, who asked her to be on Qingshi's side. My poison skills are just some small tricks. I'm just playing around. How can I discuss it with you? She rejected. So you admit that you know poison? Yu Ling said. Huh. Sima Yue was surprised by her reaction. She seemed to care more about this answer. Poison Sect opened a bet to guess if you're a poison master, and if the poison was made by your son. I'm here to get an answer. Yu Ling said. Sima Yue's heart was in a mess, but she could not show it on her face. If she could, she wanted to chase her away. You little brat, how can you keep it to yourself when you're angry? Yu Ling burst the bubble in her heart, making Sima Yue feel embarrassed. Shouldn't she see through it and not expose it? Oh right, there's another question. Yu Ling continued. Is Qingsai's 3 days of abstinence real? I checked his body after the detoxification, and there's nothing wrong with him. You want to hear the real answer? Yeah, I won't tell anyone. No, it's fine as long as he releases it. But if he doesn't release it, it'll last for 3 days. Yu Ling. Because of the matter with the primer, they were certain that she was trying to prank them, so they did not know if they should believe her. But they did not dare to take the risk, so they could only choose to believe her. They did not expect her to just say it casually. Aren't you afraid that I'll go back on my words and tell others about this? She asked. What's wrong with that? Everyone knows that I don't get along with Qingkai, so it's normal for me to throw a tantrum. If you tell others, they'll just think that I'm a bad person. Qingkai has already suffered. Sima Yue did not care at all. She would tell her, but she did not care if she would tell others. You've been quite popular recently. Have you thought of joining Poison Sect? Yu Ling asked. Join Poison Sect? That's right. I heard that you're going to join Pill Sect, Array Sect, Spirit Sect. It's not a big deal. Sima Yu directly rejected. If Qingshi knew that you wanted me to join the Poison Sect, what would she think? My relationship with him is between the two of us. The matter between you and Poison Sect is between us. It's different. Yu Ling said. Besides, it's not like we have a good personal relationship. It's just that there are some things that can't be pushed away. Actually, I didn't want to join the Array Formation Sect or the Spirit Seeking Sect. It was just casually spread by those people outside. Sima Yu said, recently, I only learned how to use sound attacks in the Sound Sect. The reason why I became Sixth Elder's disciple was killed by Qingkai. Seeing how insistent she was, Yu Ling knew that she would not join the Poison Sect for now, so she did not say anything more. She only said, if you change your mind in the future, you can come and look for us directly. After Yu Ling left, Fuxi asked Sima Yue, why didn't you agree with her? Don't you want to improve your poison skills too? The tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. I'm already so high profile. If I join Poison Sect, it'll be a blessing, Sima Yue said. Also, don't bite off more than you can chew. There's no rush to learn. People like us who cultivate have more time. Let's talk about this again after the commotion dies down. That's true. A few days later, Lu Yan brought her to the main sect and she became Helan's disciple. When she saw the old man smiling at her in the main hall, she knew that the person who stopped her was the sect master of the Yin sect. The process of becoming a disciple was very simple. Sima Yu served tea and changed the way she addressed her as master. Helan told her about the rules of the sect and gave her a gift for becoming a disciple. That was it. In the following days, she went out less. Other than learning sound attacks, she went to Helan to learn about formations. When she had time, she taught Haixing and Haishi. 20 years passed in a blink of an eye. This was the most peaceful time Sima Yue had ever lived. She had never had such a long time to learn and improve herself. She slowed down her pace and felt that she had learned more. Time allowed her to let go of herself. The relaxation of her soul allowed her to improve her state. The unstable state that was left behind by her rapid growth was solved. Pa! Boom! In a barren mountain far away from the Yin sect, Sima Yue was struck by lightning. She was charred on the outside and tender on the inside. She lay on the ground and did not want to move. The cloud spirit said that it was a big tribulation, and it had to be struck. Sima Yue endured it from the beginning to the end. If it was not for little Z, she would have died here. Many people were watching outside the lightning tribulation. Some came from the Yin sect after hearing the commotion. Some came with her. Seeing the lightning tribulation, everyone was shocked. Many people's legs turned to jelly. Some of the people who wanted to do something to her also left. The little princess of the ghost realm. Her strength was not just for show. Wu Lingyu went to carry her. Although Sima Yue was not seriously injured, she was in so much pain that she did not want to talk. She leaned into his arms. Yue, how are you? Fushi ran over. At this time, his body had grown into an adult. He looked like a young man in his 20s. He looked at the weak Sima Yue. He still had lingering fears. Sure enough, compared to her, the electric shocks she gave him in the past were child's play. Master. Haishi and Haixing had also grown up. Over the years, their strength had increased rapidly. With the resources that Sima Yue had given them, they were several levels higher than their peers. I'm fine. It's just a little painful. Sima Yue said. It's good that you only feel a little pain after being hit by such a big lightning bolt. Konohachi said faintly. Over the years, because they discussed arrays from time to time, they became closer to Sima Yue. Seeing her going through the tribulation shocked them. They did not expect that there would be someone who could withstand the lightning. Sima Yue saw so many people. She pulled Wu Lingyu's clothes. Wu Lingyu understood and disappeared from the crowd with her. When they appeared again, they were already in her courtyard. I've finally broken through to Underworld Paragon. We should leave and find grandfather to fulfill our promise. She lay on the bed and said happily, You've been in seclusion for the past 2 years. That's why you don't know the situation outside. There are rumors that the Ghost King is no longer here. Wu Lingyu said. What happened? It should be because the Ghost King has not appeared for so many years. That's why there are these rumors. Or someone spread these rumors. Chapter 2037. Sima Yue's eyes turned cold. Anaheim has never been well behaved. Grandfather has been in seclusion for so many years. Of course she wants to take advantage of him. Hasn't she always done that? She said sarcastically. She probably thinks that she's more suitable to be the Ghost King than the Ghost Queen. She doesn't even know if she has the ability to do so. Aren't you worried about your grandfather? There's no need to worry. Sima Yue said. Grandfather actually left a soul imprint on me. He's fine in my consciousness now, so there's nothing wrong with him. I see. Wu Lingyu touched her nose. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I've made you worry. I didn't think about it, so I ignored it. Sima Yue wrinkled her nose. Wu Lingyu really suspected that something had happened to the Ghost King. He was so far away and had not appeared for so long, so it was believable. Then there's no rush to go back. Wu Lingyu wanted to rush back once she recovered. Now they still had to go back, but they could relax a little. I've already passed the master's examination. You can take the examination after you recover. Wu Lingyu said. Master's examination? Everyone who leaves the Yin sect will have a master's examination based on what they've learned. Because your reputation has been very high all these years, everyone requested that your examination be made public. Wu Lingyu said. Ah, the masters agreed? Sima Yue saw the smile on Wu Lingyu's face and pursed her lips. Master and the rest are not thinking about me at all. I heard that you're going to take the master's examination. Many people have come back recently. Wu Lingyu continued. Is there a need for that? So you should be prepared. When you take the master's examination, there will be a lot of people watching. Like today? Sigh, it's been more than 20 years. Why do they still like to watch me? I've been a star in the zoo all these years. However, since Master and the rest had agreed, there was no use in protesting. The people behind the door had been chasing after her for more than 20 years. This time, she would satisfy them. Anyway, she was going to leave anyway. Whatever they did after that had nothing to do with her. Someone recorded the scene of Sima Yue undergoing the lightning tribulation. Just looking at the scene made their hearts tremble. Seeing that Sima Yue did not dodge and instead went forward, everyone was impressed by her courage and strength. As expected of the Secret Order's legend, no one will be able to surpass her in the future. Some people exist just to attack others. Isn't that so? Compared to her, I feel like we've been Sai. While Sima Yue was recuperating from her injuries, the image of her heavenly tribulation had spread throughout the Yin sect. At the same time, everyone was looking forward to her graduation examination. In the days that followed, Konoha Nagasaki and others came to see her one after another, but she drove them all out, and no one came. She wasn't a gorilla or a monkey. What was so strange about all of them coming over to see? Lu Yan was in his own courtyard. He heard people coming and going from the small mountain beside him. It was much noisier than before, but he didn't dislike it. Sima Yue was lying in his music room, eating spiritual fruits and listening to him play the zither. Master, you play so well. Sima Yue supported her chin with one hand. Unfortunately, I can't listen to it for long. Have you decided? Lu Yan asked her. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. I've said before that the day I break through to Underworld Elder is the day I'll leave. It's already rare to be able to stay here for so long. It's indeed a little unexpected. I thought you'd break through earlier. Lu Yan knew about her body's condition, so he was a little surprised that she would choose to take such a long time. That would go against my original intention of coming here. Sima Yue smiled. It's just a pity that I won't be able to attend your wedding banquet before I leave. Although her two masters had expressed their love for each other all these years, they still hadn't decided to be together. Lu Yan's expression was a little unnatural. He didn't continue the topic, but said, your graduation examination is arranged for half a month later. Will your injury be fine by then? No problem. Sima Yue knew that her master was thin-skinned, so she didn't continue to tease him. As for the public examination, the sect also wants a legendary figure to stimulate those arrogant disciples. Lu Yan took the initiative to explain. I know. Sima Yue said. But before the examination, let me hide here. Lu Yan smiled and let her be. While she was recuperating here, a few people went to the small mountain and met Hai Xing and Hai Shi, who helped her block people in the name of meeting her. After they left the small mountain, they went directly to Mo Wei's courtyard. How was it? I didn't lie to you, right? Mo Wei said. Vice sect leader Mo has always been honest, but we have to make sure that the person is real. One of the men said in a low voice. Now that we've seen her, we can be sure. I've already told you the person. As for whether you can bring her out or not, it's none of my business. Mo Wei said. Don't forget what you promised me. How could we forget? As long as she leaves the Yin sect, she will be hunted down immediately. Now that the Ghost King is no longer here, we don't have to care so much. The other party said. That's good. Mo Wei didn't mention that Sima Yue was from the 9th Underworld clan. As long as these people killed Sima Yue, she didn't care about anything else. When do you think we should make our move? There have been too many people coming to the small mountain recently. If we make a move now, we'll be discovered easily. Half a month later, it will be the day of her graduation examination. By then, she won't have time to care about the people around her. That'll be the time for you to make your move. Mo Wei said. Remember, you can only lure her out of the town. If you make a move inside, you'll be attacked by the Yin sect. It doesn't matter if you die, but it'll be troublesome if you implicate her. We understand. We have a way to lure them out. I hope you really do. Alright, you can leave the Yin sect first. After those people left, Lu Su stepped forward and said, Master, do we really have to do this? Mo Wei's body emitted an eerie chill. If we don't make a move, she'll leave this place. These people know about the Hai family and are interested in those two people. It's most suitable for them to make a move. But she wanted to say that Sima Yue was so powerful and protective. If she knew that they were obstructing her, she didn't know what would happen. However, Mo Wei's decision would not change. Her heart was filled with apprehension. especially on the day of her graduation examination. When she received the news, a sense of panic rose in her heart. Chapter 2038. Among the mountains, the North Square was the largest open space, and there were many stands which were rarely opened. This time, it was opened because of her, which was unprecedented. Starfish and Haishi sent Sima Yue to the North Square, and then went to the stands. The assessment hadn't started yet, so Sima Yue was waiting alone below, while Starfish, Haishi, and Fushi were excited on the stands. At this time, a strange man came to Starfish and Haishi and said, "Starfish, someone asked me to give this to you." Starfish and Haishi saw the family jade in his hand and held their breath. Then they took the jade and asked, "Where is this person?" "Waiting for you in the town outside. She said she couldn't stay here for long, and asked you to meet her," the man said. "She said she didn't want anyone to know." "Haishi, who is that person? I saw her sneaking around. Is she a bad person? Sneaking around?" Starfish and Haishi looked at each other and said, "No, it should be our clansman who found her. We're going to meet her now. Thank you for bringing us the news." "So it's your clansman? Then I've brought you the news. I'll leave now." The man was about to leave. "Wait." Starfish stopped him. "I didn't see you in the gate. Did you come from the town?" The man was startled and said, "Yes." "In that case, wait for us and we'll go out with you," Starfish said. "We'll need you to point out that person for us." "Okay. Then wait for us at the gate. We'll go after saying hello." "Okay." The man left and waited for them at the gate. Starfish talked to a man for a while, but he didn't know what they were talking about. According to their temperament, they won't tell anyone about this, right? He guessed. After all, the Hai family was a secret, and they wouldn't be stupid enough to tell anyone. Starfish quickly told Fushi everything, and then said, "This jade belongs to my aunt. When the family was destroyed, her whereabouts were unknown. Now that we have a clue, we have to go and have a look." "Do you know that this might be a trap?" Fushi said. "I know, but this is the only clue we have right now," the Starfish said. "Although it's most likely a trap, we can't ignore it." "All right then, go ahead." Fushi nodded. When he saw the man looking over, he said, "Go ahead. Come back early. I'll let you know." "Thank you very much." Starfish knew that he was talking to that person, so he nodded gratefully and went to that person with Hesi. When the man saw Fushi pressing his lips together and understanding what he was saying, he heaved a sigh of relief. Since he said so, it meant that he would be waiting for Sima Yue to finish her exam. As long as these people didn't come, by the time they found out that these two people were missing, it would be after her assessment. At that time, they wouldn't be able to track down their whereabouts. He walked out with the Starfish and Hesi. After leaving the bustling North Square, the surroundings became much quieter. Along the way, Sima Yue asked him some questions about the town. He couldn't answer them, so he said that he had just entered the sect recently, so he was sent to the town to guard. Seeing his behavior, the siblings were even more sure that this was a trap. When they were about to reach the town, the man said, "I suddenly remembered that he said that if you didn't arrive in half a day, he would go to Dongshan Mountain to wait for you. He asked you to go to Dongshan Mountain to find him." "I heard that Dongshan Mountain is a little far from here," Hesi said. "That's why I said that person was sneaky. In that case, do you still want to go?" The Starfish and Hesi hesitated and said, "Yes, but we haven't been to Dongshan Mountain. Can you take us there?" "Well, we don't know what the person who brought the jade looks like. Even if we see her, we won't know it's her," the Starfish said. "All right then. Who asked me to take on this matter? But I have to go back and talk to the shopkeeper." "Okay, then you go. We'll wait for you here," the Starfish said with a smile. The man left, thinking that these two people had really grown up in a good environment. Their minds were too simple. He went to the town, and went back to find them. "My shopkeeper said that he wanted me to take you there, and then go back to work, so let's go and come back early." "Okay." They rushed to Dongshan Mountain and soon arrived there. "This is it. I don't know where that person is hiding. Shall we look for her separately?" I think we'd better go together. If we separate, we won't recognize her even if we see her, the starfish said. We'll help you talk to your shopkeeper later. He won't blame you. That's good. I can slack off for half a day. Let's start looking here. He took the two of them around the mountain, and then walked towards the agreed place. Before they got there, they found that something was wrong. The air seemed to be filled with a strong smell of blood. When they got there, they found that a group of underworld beasts had surrounded a group of wounded people. And those people were their own people. We've been discovered. This was his first thought. The next second he reflexively wanted to escape, but found that the way back had been blocked by a group of underworld beasts. You guys are so slow. Fushi came over on a nether lion, crossed his arms in front of his chest, and complained, when we go back, I don't know if Yue has finished the exam. We wanted to see if he had any other purpose, the Haishi said, who knew that he was just leading us around. Okay, catch these people. Let's hurry back. Fushi took out a few ropes and shook them gently. These ropes tied everyone up. The Haishi went up and fed poison to everyone's mouths. They couldn't commit suicide now even if they wanted to. Fushi ordered the underworld beasts. You guys go back. You've worked hard today. All the underworld beasts bowed respectfully to him, and then they all dispersed. You already knew. The man who delivered the message glared at the starfish. There was no subservience in his eyes, and his face was full of anger. That's right. We suspected you as soon as you appeared, the starfish said. But in order to catch you, we had to let you lead the way. When you went back to the town to inform the people hiding in East Mountain, we also sent the news to Fushi. When you go back, you guys can have a good talk about why Little Ant's jade pendant is with you. Let's go, let's go. Fushi urged. He still had to go back and watch Sima Yue's exam. He didn't know how much he would miss. Sima Yue was in the square. She looked at the place where the starfish and the others were, and found that the three of them were gone. She frowned slightly. Chapter 2039. However, she didn't have the time to look for them because the elders of the main sect had all arrived. There were also the sect masters and vice-sect masters of the various sections. This lineup was comparable to when something big happened in the sect in the past. Their appearance forced her to stop her actions of contacting them. She raised her head and saw Wu Lingyu at the position of the array door. Wu Lingyu saw her looking at the 3 empty seats of the sound sect, and understood what she meant. He nodded at her. Ning Tianya brought his people to the rostrum and sat down. Sima Yue came in front of them. Yue, are you sure you want to take all the examinations today? Ning Tianya asked her. Yes. Sima Yue replied. All right, your master will give you the examination questions next. You must pass all of them before you can leave the secret sect. Ning Tianya said. Hearing that Sima Yue wanted to leave the secret sect, the people of the secret sect weren't surprised. Anyone who wanted to take the examinations would have to leave the secret sect. However, when Ning Tianya mentioned it, they felt a little disappointed. In the future, the secret sect would have a lot less fun. Who will go first? Ning Tianya looked at the sect masters and asked. I'll go first. It just so happens that the sect has taken in a patient these 2 days. Her symptoms are a little strange, and they haven't found the cause yet. The sect master of the medicine sect spoke, causing the entire venue to quiet down. The sect master of the medicine sect said he wanted to test her. They didn't know that she had medical skills. Old man Li, isn't it unfair for you to take the examination like this? Helan protested. You don't even have a solution and you let her do it. What if she can't solve it? How does that count? Naturally, we've considered this situation. The sect master of the medicine sect stroked his beard that reached his chest. If she gives up, we still have a backup plan. As long as she can pass that, it counts. Master, then let me try. Sima Yue said. Old man Li clapped his hands, and someone immediately brought a patient up. This is the patient who came in 2 days ago. His vitality has been weakening but he hasn't been injured. There are also no other factors. Try and see if you can find the reason. Sima Yue came to the patient. She was already very weak. Her eyes were lifeless and her facial features were sunken. Her face was sallow and her body was haggard. She looked like she was malnourished. "Let me take your pulse first," she asked the medicine boy beside her to put his hand on the armrest of the chair and take his pulse. Sect leader Lee came to her side while she was taking her pulse. He wanted to see if she could find the reason. "His pulse is weak, and his spiritual essence is scarce. The other symptoms are caused by the decrease in spiritual essence. They are not the cause of his illness. No matter how I look at it, it's just a normal symptom," Sima Yue said. "But under normal circumstances, we should be able to find the reason for the loss of spiritual essence." "Indeed," Sect Master Li said. "That's why it's strange." "Master, have you checked if there are any life-sucking parasites in his body?" Sima Yue asked. "I've already checked. There's nothing," Sect leader Li said. This parasite was the first thing they thought of when the person's spiritual essence was being drained. But after checking a few times, they found nothing out of the ordinary. There's no injury, no parasites. His spiritual essence is disappearing for no reason. Sima Yue touched her chin. Her mind was racing as she tried to think of the reason for this. Just as Sect leader Li was about to ask her if she wanted to give up and choose the backup exam, she went behind the patient and took out a silver needle. She then pierced it into his neck. "Ah!" The patient who had not spoken a word for so many days suddenly screamed. It was as if he was going through some kind of pain. "What's going on? Shouldn't there be no reaction?" The people from the physician's sect saw Sima Yue's actions and knew what she had done. Sect leader Li parted the patient's hair and saw that his neck was red and swollen around the silver needle. He immediately understood. "I see. I didn't think of this." "Sect leader, what is this?" "When some people cultivate, they will form their own lines in their bodies. Under normal circumstances, this will not have any effect on the human body. However, once there is a cultivation backlash during the cultivation process, the lines will devour the human body's vitality." Sect leader Li explained. "The probability of this happening is very low, so very few people know about it. Even I didn't think of it. Now that you mention it, it's very rare in the medical records. I didn't think that Yue would know about this. It's really admirable." The people from the physician's sect agreed. "She knows so much at such a young age. It really makes me feel ashamed." "Then how do we solve this?" someone asked. "Does she have to cure him to pass the exam?" "No one can cure him yet. If she finds the cause, she will pass. Because this is too rare, she will pass." Sima Yue looked at the lifeless person on the chair. She heard the people from the physician's sect tell his family that there was no medicine to save him. Seeing the grief in her family's eyes, she said softly, "Why don't you let me try and see if I can?" Her voice was very soft. It was almost inaudible amidst the clamor of praises and discussions. However, her family still heard it. "Master, Master, can you save him? I beg you to save him." She ran to Sima Yue and knelt down in front of her, grabbing her clothes. Hearing her shout, the others all looked over in surprise. "Master, you just said that you can save him." The girl raised her head and shouted. Sima Yue pulled her up and said, "Get up first." She didn't have the habit of making people kneel down in front of her, especially in front of so many people. "Yue, do you have a way to cure him?" Sect leader Li asked. "I don't have absolute confidence. But since he is already waiting for death, why not try?" Sima Yue said. "Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master." The girl kneeling on the floor kept kowtowing. "Don't be in a hurry to thank me. I might not be able to save him." Sima Yue didn't want her to have too much hope. "I know." Sect leader Li said that there is no other way. "I am already very grateful that you are willing to try." The girl calmed down and didn't push Yue too hard. "Since you want to try, then try. Who knows, you might be able to save his life." Sect leader Li said. Then he got people to build a temporary treatment room and surrounded it. He didn't want anyone to see the treatment process. "Old Li, do you trust her that much? You know this child. She never speaks carelessly. Since she took the initiative to mention it, at least she has some confidence. Even if she fails in the end, it doesn't matter." Chapter 2040. The treatment process needed to be kept secret, so only sect leader Li went in with her. The people outside didn't know what they were doing inside, but they could vaguely see the shadows inside and hear sect leader Li's cheers from time to time. I didn't expect her to have such amazing medical skills. She has only been in the sect for more than 20 years. How could she learn so many things to be so powerful? She already knew these when she entered the sect, and now she is just improving herself. Oh, really amazing. Her existence is a blow to people's confidence. Now even if she knows everything in the sect, I wouldn't be surprised. Me too. Because they couldn't see Sima Yoyue's treatment process. Everyone felt that it was a long process. After a few hours, the temporary screen was opened from the inside. Your silver needle technique is really amazing. Sect leader Li praised when he came out, and the relatives waiting outside quickly greeted them, looking at the two expectantly. Haha, your luck is really good to meet her. She actually used this method to straighten out the lines in his body. He won't lose his vitality later, so his life is saved. Sect leader Li said with a smile. Thank you, Sect leader Li. Thank you, master. The woman thanked the two excitedly. Don't thank me, I didn't find the cause of the disease, and I didn't save him. Sect leader Li was not greedy. When you go back, you have to take care of his body. This time he suffered a great loss, and it will take some time for him to recover. Also, don't advance rashly in the future, and cultivate slowly. Yes. I will definitely talk to him, and won't do this kind of thing again. Well, he can leave after resting here for 2 days, you can go down with them. The people of the sect removed the people and the screen, and the square was empty again. Sect leader Li proudly announced, Doctor passed the examination. Thank you, master. Good. Ning Tianya looked at him and said, Who's next? I'll do it. The sect leader of the spirit-seeking sect came out and said, Our examination is very simple. Choose 50 ores from 100 ores, and there can't be any white stones. Moreover, the value of the selected ores and the rest of the ores can't be less than 5. God, this is simple. This is equivalent to a 95% hit rate. The greater the base, the higher the risk. How is this simple? When did the Sunling sect's examination become so difficult? It probably varies from person to person. But this is too difficult. Others were talking about it, and the people of the spirit-seeking sect were also lamenting the unprecedented difficulty of this assessment. But no matter how much they protested, the test had already been set, and no one could change it. The people of the spirit-seeking sect moved 100 ores to the square, and arranged them neatly in 10 rows. Oh right, I forgot to mention the time. Within 4 hours. PFFF. What he said at the end made people spit out blood. Choosing 50 ores in 4 hours, and having a 100% hit rate? 4 hours and 240 minutes. Looking at 100 ores, the average time spent on one ore was only slightly more than 2 minutes. This was a stone selection, not a cabbage selection on the street. How was this an exam? This was simply making things difficult for him. Sima Yue, on the other hand, was very calm. When the timer started, she began to move through the ores. She picked up an ore and looked at it for a few seconds. In less than 10 seconds, she could decide whether to eliminate it or choose it. So fast. Is she choosing the ores? Or is she just trying her luck? This speed, it shouldn't be stone selection, right? Have you ever seen anyone choose ores so quickly? She must be guessing. But if she's really guessing, her expression is too calm and confident. This is called being calm in the face of danger. Even if she's not sure, she has to fool others. You speak as if you really know. Someone scoffed at this statement. I believe she's seriously choosing the ores. You don't believe in her ability, you're blindly worshipping her. That's right. I admire her, I believe she has the ability. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such an examination. That's true. Since it's a graduation examination, and it's so difficult, it means that she has the possibility to complete it. Let's wait and see. 2 hours later, the ores were divided into 3 piles. 1 pile was selected by her, 1 pile was eliminated by her, and the remaining dozen were uncertain. She had already selected 43 ores, so she had to choose 7 out of the 15. She carefully observed every one of them, and after careful consideration, she made her move. At the last minute, she selected the remaining 7. "Master, I've chosen," she said to the spirit-seeking sect master on the stand. "Good, open the oars." All the masters in the spirit-seeking sect were dispatched. Some opened the oars she chose, and some opened the remaining ones. The masters who opened the oars she chose were a little nervous. As long as they opened a white stone, she wouldn't be able to pass today's examination. Fortunately, they didn't open a white stone all the way. At least she passed the first round. On the other side, the eliminated oars opened 10 white stones. She didn't choose a single one of the 10 oars. 50 oars, not a single white stone, all right. The person in charge of the examination was Lian Cheng, who had competed with her before. Now that he personally announced her results, his mood was also complicated. She was indeed much better than him. She really hit all the oars. That's amazing. It seems that she didn't guess, or else how could she not choose any of the 10 white stones? So, it's really her ability. Heavens! Anila sat in his seat and said with a smile, "These oars were finalized by the guys below for 7 or 8 days. Even I took a day to confirm. That's why it's said that the student has surpassed the master. How does it feel to be surpassed by your own disciple?" "Very proud, ha 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 ha." Anila laughed. "Next, we'll evaluate the value," Lianqing announced. The elders of the spirit-seeking sect immediately evaluated the value of each oars, then wrote it down on paper, and finally sorted them one by one. In the end, there were 3 oars whose value exceeded the one she chose, and 5 oars lower than the examination standard. Therefore, she passed the examination smoothly. The square was boiling. Everyone looked at her, as if they were looking at a legend. "Who's next?" Ning Tianya asked. "I'll do it." Hu, the formation sect master, said. Seeing Hu come out, no one was surprised. They knew that he was good at formations when Lu Yen advanced. Now that he came out to take the examination, they all believed that she wouldn't have any problems. In the end, Sima Yue almost failed here. Chapter 2041. The array test was especially difficult, and the content of the test was something she did not expect. When she heard the content of the test, she could only say that her master thought too highly of her. Hu came to the front of the rostrum and said, "My test is very simple. The place you are at has already prepared an array. It's a trap array and you have to come out from it. However, if you activate the hidden array within the array while breaking it, it will become a killing array." She understood this kind of combination array. As long as she found the pattern, it was not too difficult. But when the array was activated, she was depressed. It's actually an imitation of the trap array of the 10 great ancient arrays. "Master, do you really think I'm that powerful?" She could not help but complain. The people outside could not hear her voice, but they could see her lips. Coupled with her expression, they could tell that she was depressed. "Old Hu, you actually used an imitation of an ancient array. Isn't this a little too much?" Helan frowned, feeling indignant for Sima Yue. If she can't pass this array, what will she do if she encounters an ancient array in the future? Hu said, "Moreover, you all know about her. If she goes to that place in the future, if she doesn't have any skills, how can she protect herself? If she can't pass, she can stay and continue to learn." Others also felt that what he said made sense. But she's also in a hurry to leave. Although she did not appear to be in a hurry and stayed to stabilize herself, she was still anxious to save her mother. This was not a secret among the higher-ups of the hidden sect. Otherwise, they would not have agreed to let her finish the test in such a short time. Back then, they had a meeting with Sima Yue and talked about her situation, including her background, her experience, her growth, the things she did in the human realm and the ghost realm and so on. In the end, they concluded that she should be the person with the destiny that they had been waiting for. As people of the upper class in this world, they had the obligation to help her grow. That was why they allowed her to study in various sects all these years. They also knew that she should have some kind of treasure that could slow down time, which allowed her to learn so many things in such a short time. More than 20 years in the Spirit Pagoda was more than 200 years. With her talent and foundation, it was not difficult for her to learn. Moreover, they had also calculated that chaos was coming. She had to leave. There were still many things waiting for her to do in this world. Their hearts were filled with pride at the thought that they could personally bring her up. However, she might not be able to pass the array formation exam. Sima Yue walked in the array formation. She felt that she was walking in one direction, but to the people outside, she was walking around in a very small area. She felt that the imitation of the ancient formation was more troublesome because it made some changes on the foundation of the ancient formation. It not only had the power of the ancient formation, but also had more changes. Some even had stronger power. Furthermore, this formation had been changed into a combination formation by Hu. Once the killing formation was triggered, it would be disastrous. She was trapped and killed. Moreover, she could feel that the power of the killing array was not any weaker than the trapping array. Thinking of this, she wanted to vomit blood. It was just an exam, but her master was torturing her to death. Whoosh! The sound of the wind rushed over. She moved her body to the side. An array of spiritual energy brushed past her ear, scraping the skin on her ear. If he came any closer, her ears would be gone. She had actually triggered the killing array. Sima Yue wanted to vomit blood. She had just figured out how to break the trapping array, and now she had triggered the killing array. Now, not only did she have to deal with these attacks, she also had to break the array. Most importantly, the attacks were so fierce that she did not have the time or energy to break the array. Seeing the killing array attack, the crowd was in an uproar. This attack was too fierce. With Sima Yue's strength, she would not be able to defend against it. Old Hu, don't you think you've gone overboard? The people on the rostrum were also worried. The attack seemed to be too fierce. Only Hu laughed. His previous worries were swept away. Yue is injured. How can you still laugh at this time? Helan said with a solemn face. Continue watching. Hu did not explain, but the smile on his face deepened. Is there something fishy? They turned their attention back to Sima Yue, only to see that she was badly injured by the attacks and was running around the array. The people on the rostrum were heartbroken. Their goddess had never been in such a sorry state. She was seriously injured and was even forced to run around. Her image was gone. Pfft! She could not dodge in time. A long sword pierced her shoulder, just 2 fingers away from her heart. If it had gone down a little further. Old Hu, Enilu was anxious. If this continues, she will die. You should quickly deactivate the array. She would have failed the assessment this time. Don't be anxious. Hu's smile did not change. Just wait a little longer. Can what? They did not see any signs of her breaking the array. Just wait and see. The tables are about to turn, Hu said. He would not joke about Sima Yue's life. Since he said so, everyone could only wait. They waited anxiously. Their hearts were in their throats. Fortunately, they did not have to wait for too long. Otherwise, their lives would be shortened. Sima Yue was injured again. On her other shoulder, in the same position. She was stabbed again. Now, there was a long sword on each of her shoulders. There were a few broken arrows in her legs and wounds all over her body. However, when her shoulder was stabbed, she smiled. That smile was so confident, so bright. It made people feel that no matter what difficulties they faced, they would not be able to stop her. She would keep moving forward, reaching heights that she had never reached before. Array rise. Following her shout, an array lit up around her. This array was not big, but it was just enough to protect her. It also weakened the attack of the trapping array. She actually set up an array when she was escaping. Everyone exclaimed. Previously, no one could see that her messy steps were actually drawing array patterns. Old Hu, you saw through it long ago. Enilu said. Hu smiled but did not say anything. Is this array able to resist your trapping array? The attack seems to be much weaker. Lu Yin asked. I think so too. It seems to be much smaller. Helan said. It can't be considered a trapping array. Not only did she set up an array, she even borrowed the trapping array's array patterns and used some of the trapping array's power. This way, she can protect herself and weaken the attack. Once she recovers, this formation won't pose any difficulty to her. Who explained to everyone. Chapter 2042. Sima Yu felt that her life had come back to life and she could breathe again. She lay on the ground without caring about her image, and took out a pill with difficulty, waiting for her body to recover. Everyone present suddenly fell silent. Sima Yu had always been omnipotent and aloof in their hearts. At the same time, they also felt that people like her only had good talent and a good environment. However, looking at her now, other than having good conditions, she was also very hardworking. No, it couldn't be said that she was very hardworking. It should be said that she was desperately hardworking. If they encountered such a situation, they would have surrendered long ago. How could they have persisted until the end? Let alone have the thought and ability to arrange an array to give themselves time to breathe. She had the ability and was also very hardworking. That was why she could stand at such a high position. At this moment, no one felt that her image was bad. On the contrary, she was better in their hearts than ever before. Many people secretly decided that they would work harder in the future. The pill quickly stopped the bleeding on her body and restored a lot of her spiritual energy. She collapsed on the ground and looked at the rare blue sky. Her mind was circling around for a while, and how to break the array. She didn't care about what others thought of her. Time slowly passed. After resting for half an hour, she finally sat up. The attacks outside were still there. Although they were much weaker, it was still a problem for her who was seriously injured. She sat in her own array formation and took out a few array stones, calmly deducing them. A figure covered in blood and covered in wounds entered the hearts of countless people. From then on, no one was more beautiful than her. After a while, her tightly pursed lips finally rose. At that moment, many people smiled with her. Sima Yu picked up the array stones and went to the edge of her array. The moment she removed the array, she disappeared. Disappear, reappear, disappear, and reappear. Although the attacks didn't decrease, she didn't suffer any injuries. She was much calmer than before. Who smiled. She has already grasped the rules of the killing array. Not bad, not bad. Ning Tianya praised. It was not only because of her ability, but also because of her perseverance. Sima Yu walked around the array for a while, and inserted the last array stone. The attacks suddenly disappeared. She also walked out of the trapping array. He had finally passed this hurdle. Sima Yu raised her head and smiled at Wu Lingyu. Wu Lingyu smiled back at her, and her tightly clenched fists in her sleeves finally relaxed. It was sour. Many people felt sour in their hearts. Her smile was for Wu Lingyu alone. What should they do when they were so envious of him? He really wanted to go up and beat up Wu Lingyu. What should he do? Sima Yu came to the rostrum and said, "Master, I'm out." Hu nodded in satisfaction. "Not bad, you've passed my test. You've already competed for 2 days. You can continue with the rest of the assessment after your injuries have healed," Ning Tianya said. "There's no need, Sect Master." Sima Yu said, "These are just superficial wounds, there's no need to rest." Although she said so, everyone still gave her half a day to rest. And everyone was willing to wait for her here. Sima Yu ate some pills. Some were for healing her injuries, and some were for restoring her mental strength. While she was changing her clothes, she took the opportunity to rest in her spirit pagoda. When she appeared in front of everyone again half a day later, she was already full of energy. "Sect Master, let's begin." "All right. Who's next?" Ning Tianya asked. "I'll do it," Lu Yan said. "In view of your body's condition, I'll do something simple. You only need to play a song. You don't need to attack. You just need to make everyone here fall into your illusion." Everyone present wanted to vomit blood. When he said that he would do something simple, they thought that he was going to go easy on Sima Yu and really give her a simple test. They didn't expect him to be the same as the previous ones. He was also a trap. She was already so tired, but he actually wanted her to enchant everyone present. They all had great mental strength. How strong would the sound attack be if all of them were enchanted? Many people were wondering if they would be discovered if they pretended to be enchanted. If they didn't know how to, then they would just have to pretend. Sima Yue didn't have any objections. She took out a black musical instrument. She tested the sound and made sure that every note was correct. What musical instrument is this? Why haven't I seen it before? This sound is like a flute, but it's not a flute. It's quite nice. Let's see what kind of music she can play. No matter what kind of music she plays, I'll be enchanted in a while. Yes, I'll definitely be enchanted too. They emphasized the word definitely, and everyone understood what they meant. Yes, they'll definitely be enchanted too. How could their actions be hidden from the old guys on the rostrum? These guys, don't they know that pretending won't work? And Lele was amused. I've never seen the people in the sects so united. Huhu said. If they were always so united, there wouldn't be so many problems. That's good too. Ilan smiled. Sima Yue heard those words too. She was grateful for their kindness, but she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Let's begin. Lu Yan instructed. Sima Yue put the ocarina to her lips. The melodious sound spread throughout the entire North Square. Her musical instrument is so simple, and the sound is a little monotonous. Is it okay to use this now? Ilan asked Lu Yan. I don't know. You'll have to see how she performs. Lu Yan said. And this is the first time I've heard her play this song. Then she'll be taking a risk. Ilan said. Don't you know her character? Is she afraid of taking risks? If she is, she won't be able to pass the array formation test. That's true. The song Sima Yue played was the song she would listen to every time she went on a mission. The scenery of her hometown could always calm her down. The song wasn't very long. When she played it for the first time, those people didn't think much of it. They just felt that the song was very nice. As they listened to the simple tune, a faint sense of homesickness rose in their hearts. When she played it for the second time, their hearts didn't think of anything else. They just followed the song. When she played it for the third and fourth time, the homesickness in their hearts disappeared. A scene appeared in front of them. In a world filled with white fog, a long river flowed alone. Slowly, living things appeared in the water. Those living things multiplied endlessly. They came from the water to the land and gave birth to new species. In the end, those species disappeared, and only that lonely river was left. Chapter 2043. 1 second to remember. Love divided by you. Reading book web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. The sound of the flute came again and again, but no one noticed it. They listened to the sound of the flute, but it seemed like they didn't hear it, because their attention was focused on the scene in front of them. In an instant, the world changed. After the sound of the flute stopped, they didn't know how much time had passed, but they felt that the scene just now was too real, as if it really happened. The old guys on the rostrum were the first to recover, and looked at Sima Yue with complicated gazes. Yue, what you showed us is. Ning Tianye didn't finish his sentence, because he felt that it was too unbelievable. Yes, it's the origin and departure of life in the chaotic world, as well as its current situation. Sima Yue said. Hiss, it really is. The old guys were all experienced, although they hadn't been to the chaotic world and hadn't seen it before, they could guess it from the scene. You've been to the chaotic world? Although there was the power of sound in it, such a realistic scene couldn't be shown if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes. Yes, I've been there twice, Sima Yue said. I also saw this scene in the river. No wonder. I didn't expect you to have been there, it really is. Anila sighed, but didn't finish his sentence. Master, did I pass this round? Sima Yue asked. You passed. Lu Yan nodded. Those people still hadn't recovered, and their eyes were still unfocused. Thank you, Master. She put away the flute. After passing this round, there wasn't much more difficult. It's my turn now. Helan calmed down and said, You can refine an 11th grade pill. The others slowly came out of the illusion, and before they could discuss the illusion, they heard that she was going to the next round of assessment. Although it was a little difficult to refine an 11th grade pill, it wasn't too harsh. After all, those who came out of the hidden sect had to be at least 10th grade. However, Before they could be happy for her, Helan set another condition, at most 8 hours. 8 hours? How could this be? Even the shortest 11th grade medicinal pill would take more than 10 hours. How could he possibly refine it in 8 hours? Don't make a fuss. Since she asked for this, she should be able to fulfill it. Think about the previous ones. Didn't you think it was impossible? But she passed all of them, didn't she? Seems like it. She's about to start. Let's just watch. Sima Yue placed the herbs she needed on 3 tables. She didn't have much time this time, so she chose the pill that she was best at. This way, the pressure would be much less. She first checked all the herbs to make sure there were no mistakes before she started to refine the pill. Refining, fusing, and condensing the core. Every step was already ingrained in her bones. Because of its high grade, there were many types of medicinal herbs that needed to be refined. And this was often the most time-consuming. She took out the alchemy furnace, lit it up, and began to refine the medicinal herbs. She threw in more than 10 types of medicinal herbs at once, causing the people on the viewing platform to be shocked again. She can actually refine more than 10 types of medicinal herbs at once. I remember that the best alchemist in the alchemy sect can only refine 7 or 8 types of medicinal herbs at once. Only the elders and above can refine more than 10 types of medicinal herbs. She can actually refine more than 20 types of medicinal herbs. If this is the case, she can save a lot of time just by refining the medicinal herbs. I see. It seems like the 6th elder knows about her abilities. That's why he made such a request. But even so, the time is still a little tight. The alchemists were all experienced alchemists. Someone immediately calculated the time she needed. She's not panicking. She should be planning the time. Let's continue watching. Very soon, they knew what Sima Yue was planning to do. When she was halfway through refining the medicinal herbs, Sima Yue took out another alchemy furnace and placed the previously refined essences into it to fuse them. This was the first time they saw refining and fusing being done at the same time. How can she do this? What if she doesn't manage to refine the medicinal herbs needed for the fusion later on? This furnace of pills will be wasted. The audience couldn't stay calm. This was simply too reckless. Even the old guys on the rostrum frowned in disapproval. 6th elder, don't you think the time limit is too short? Anilu protested. My time limit is twice as long as the 4 hours you gave me, Helan said. Anilu was rebuked by her, but she couldn't retort back. This was because the time she gave to Sima Yue was indeed too harsh. Yue isn't in a hurry. Why are you guys in a hurry? Lu Yan was very confident in Sima Yue. This time, she would probably become a legend in the secret order. It would definitely be unprecedented. That's right. I'm the only one who knows about Yue's alchemy skills. As for you guys, you can just watch quietly. Helan's lips curled upwards. She was in a good mood. She had previously discovered that Sima Yue could refine more than 20 types of medicinal herbs at the same time. She also knew that Sima Yue had tried to refine and fuse them at the same time. Hence, these 8 hours were definitely more than enough for Sima Yue. However, this would require a high level of mental strength. But it wasn't difficult for her. As she had refined pills many times, she knew how to control the time needed to refine and fuse them. The entire refining process was surprisingly smooth. Fusing, condensing the pill and absorbing the pill lightning were all done in one go. When the pill was handed over to Helan, there was still half an hour before the time limit she had set. Helan inspected the pill. Its color and effects were not bad. Very good. You've passed my test. She returned the pill to Sima Yue. Thank you, master. Sima Yue said gratefully. Helan had taught her a lot over the years. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to advance so smoothly. The spectators on the viewing platform were also happy for her. This way, she would be able to leave the secret order after passing all the examinations. However, the person on the rostrum did not move. It seemed like she had no intention of leaving. I'll give you half a day to recover your mental strength. After half a day, we'll move on to the next one. Ning Tianya said. Yes, order master. Sima Yue ate the pill and went to the side to rest, and recover her mental strength. What else is she going to take? Could it be the poison sex examination? It should be. I heard that the poison sect had invited her to join them early in the morning. That should be it. Half a day later, Sima Yue had more or less recovered. She returned to the plaza and prepared for the next examination. However, the most shocking thing was that the person who had stood up to set the questions was not the poison sect's order master. Instead, it was Qing Cheng, who had been at odds with her from the moment she had joined the sect, and had tortured her grandson for half a year. Qing Cheng looked at Sima Yue and asked, "Yue, are you ready?" You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.